My child, stop. You didn't find this by accident. I brought you here, right now, because there is something I've written in the scrolls of eternity, and it has your name on it. Yes, yours. I need you to hear me. This is not just a message, this is a summoning. What I'm about to reveal carries the weight of heaven, the timing of prophecy, and the fire of your next assignment. You must watch this entire message. Do not scroll. Do not skip. Do not silence what your spirit is begging to hear. Every second matters. Every word is part of a holy unveiling. If you stop halfway, you'll miss the part that breaks the chains. If you quit early, you'll miss the confirmation your soul has been crying out for. So listen now, because what I wrote cannot wait any longer. And it begins right here. My beloved child, there are pages in heaven's archive that bear your name, and I want you to know, with no uncertainty, that not a single breath you took in pain went undocumented. When you wept into the dark, thinking your cries disappeared into silence, I was leaning in, my ear pressed close to the fragile space between your broken heart and your trembling hope. I didn't just hear you, I felt you. Every ache, every weary sigh, every time you stood when everything inside you wanted to collapse, I recorded it. Not with ink, but with glory. With the eternal brushstrokes of divine attention. You assumed that no one noticed you carrying weight that nearly crushed your soul. But I noticed. I noticed when you chose gentleness over retaliation. I noticed when you offered kindness while your own heart was bleeding. And in those moments, when the world moved on and others were celebrated, I stood still and wrote. I wrote your name across victory scrolls, not because of what others saw, but because of what I saw. What heaven saw. I want you to grasp this truth with both hands. You were never invisible to me. There are whispers in heaven that only angels understand, holy murmurs that ripple across realms with reverence. And do you know what they're whispering now? Your name. Yes, child, your name. They speak it not with pity, not with confusion, but with awe. Because you did not merely exist through the storm. You endured with your eyes still searching for me. That posture, that refusal to let go, even when your hands were shaking, has released a fragrance in heaven unlike any other. The kind of aroma that only comes from crushed faith mixed with surrender. And so I gathered that fragrance, I stored your cries, I documented your endurance. And now, I declare this to you plainly. Your name is echoing through eternity. Not as a footnote, not as an afterthought, but as a declaration of divine intimacy. While others scroll past and forget, I pause and remember. And I don't just remember what happened to you. I remember who you chose to be through it all. That's why heaven is whispering. That's why this message found you today. Not to flatter you, but to remind you that your name has already reached the only place that matters, my heart. And from that place, I am now stirring things that have long been silent. Because the one who thought they were forgotten is about to be announced. My beloved, pause for a breath. Not because you're tired, but because the truth I'm about to unveil must enter through stillness, not noise. This moment is not a fleeting inspiration or a pleasant sentiment to encourage you for a day. No, this is eternal in its weight and exact in its timing. You haven't stumbled into this message. I led you to it. My hand has hovered over your life with unshakable precision, and what you are sensing right now in your spirit, that heat, that heaviness, that stirring in your chest that won't let go, is me. It's not your imagination. It's not coincidence. It's confirmation. You didn't make this up. You are reading too much into what's happening. I'm speaking. I am moving. I am declaring something over you that I decided before you ever took your first breath. And what I'm declaring now is simple yet seismic. Your name is written. not on paper that can burn, not on stone that can break, not in ink that can fade. It is written in light, sealed in radiance, etched into eternal scrolls guarded by angelic beings who tremble at the sound of my voice. It is inscribed in a realm no demon can access, no failure can erase, and no timeline can delay. You have questioned, haven't you? Not out loud maybe, but within. You've wondered if you matter. You've wondered if I've passed you by. You've tried to shake the thought that maybe what I promised others didn't fully apply to you. But hear me, child. Those thoughts are not rooted in truth. They are lies, dressed in the garments of delay. And I'm tearing them off right now. The reason the battle intensified is not because you were forgotten. It's because what's been written is nearing manifestation. Your name, shining with fire and promise, is seated on assignments that are being released even now. I haven't just called you. I've documented you. You are not one of many in my eyes. You are the one I thought about when I carved out destiny's timelines. You are not replaceable. You are not random. You are not here to simply witness others' fulfillment. You are here to carry something that only fits the fingerprint I formed in you. And because of that, what is written cannot be altered. Not by delay, not by disappointment, not even by your own doubt. Let me take you deeper now, into a place few dare to go, the place where I hide blueprints of glory. The scroll that bears your name isn't just a list of future blessings. It is a map of holy intention, carefully sealed until this moment of unveiling. You see, before your trauma, before your heartbreak, before your first night crying into a pillow no one else touched, I had already written your recovery. I had already written your comeback. I had already designed a restoration that defies logic, outruns shame, and overwhelms fear. This message you're reading now, it is not the beginning of something new. It is the echo of something already written. That whisper in your soul, that inner knowing you've tried to suppress. That's the echo of your name reverberating through the scrolls of the sacred. You are forgotten. You're featured. And now I'm turning the page. I need you to understand the weight of this moment. When I say your name is written in light, I don't mean metaphorically. I mean spiritually, supernaturally, unshakably. Light that penetrates realms. Light that reveals what has been hidden. Light that blinds the eyes of the enemy and guides the hearts of angels. And it's that very light, that uncontainable, irreversible, divine radiance, that is now pointing directly at you. So stop asking if you're worthy. Stop wondering if I'm talking to someone else. I'm not speaking to the crowd. I'm speaking to you. Your name is written, and heaven is ready to release what the scrolls have held. Child, I need you to hear me not with wounded ears, but with a restored heart, because I am not speaking from a distance. I am speaking from nearness, from the ache you've tried to silence, from the hollow places in your soul where companionship should have been, but abandonment settled instead. Let's talk honestly, shall we? You've been overlooked. You've been passed by. You've stood in rooms where your gifts were invisible. Your loyalty was ignored. Your value went unspoken. You've watched others be celebrated for less effort while your sacrifices gathered dust in secret. And each time you swallowed your disappointment, each time you smiled when your heart was breaking, each time you encouraged others while no one noticed your own crumbling spirit, I was watching. And not only was I watching, I was writing. I etched your name deeper with every unseen act of love. I highlighted your loyalty in the face of rejection. I expanded your scroll every time you chose humility when ego would have felt like relief. Heaven does not miss what man ignores. I know the sting of being unseen. I felt it too, when they chose a murderer over me, when they mocked instead of marveled, when they crowned me with thorns instead of glory. I stood in the silence of misunderstanding, just like you have. That's why I don't just sympathize with your wounds. I honor them. I incorporate them into a narrative that will outshine the accolades of the popular and the praise of the visible. Let me be clear. I did not allow you to be overlooked because you lacked value. I allowed it because I was hiding your value for an appointed unveiling. What they skipped, I stored. What they disregarded, I reserved. And now, beloved, I am announcing what has been buried. I am highlighting what hath been hidden. Your name has not faded. It hath been fortified. To let the world scroll. Let them swat past your presence. Let them chase noise and neglect depth. Because what I am building in you doesn't need a stage. It needs a seal. And I have sealed it. Every time someone ignored your need but consumed your kindness, I wrote it down. Every time they used your strength but refused to acknowledge your weakness, I drew closer. And now that closeness is becoming commission. I'm not sending you out to prove anything. I'm sending you out because what I planted in you has reached maturity. What you built in the silence will now rise with power. Your name is not on the lips of the popular. It is on the scrolls of the sacred. And I am turning those scrolls now. So rise in this truth. Shake off the residue of rejection. It did not reduce your worth. It refined it. You were never made to fit their rooms. You were made to host my presence. And now, child, my presence is responding, not to applause but to your persistence. Because the one who was overlooked by man is about to be highlighted by God. My child, stop running from the silence, because that's where I've been meeting you all along. I know you've wondered if I noticed. I know you sat on the edge of your bed, holding questions you were too afraid to voice. Not because you doubted my existence, but because you feared your pain wasn't loud enough to reach me. You worried that maybe your suffering wasn't dramatic enough to matter. That maybe because you didn't fall apart publicly, I didn't count your tears. But let me say this with fire and finality. Every sigh, every tear, every prayer you whispered into your pillow instead of a pulpit was heard and honored. You did have to perform for me to pay attention. You did have to collapse in front of people for me to collect your cries. While others demanded spotlight suffering to validate your struggle, I was already documenting the depth of your endurance in the unseen. There is a heavenly archive, not of accomplishments for the crowd, but of the crushed places of the consecrated. And in that place, your name is highlighted, not because you did everything right, but because you stayed close. You stayed when you wanted to run. You prayed when words failed you. You reached for me when the dark tried to smother you. And I recorded it all, not with disinterest, but with delight. Your story isn't just known in heaven, it's treasured. Your name is stitched into the very pages where miracles are conceived and movements are born. You didn't just survive, you sowed. Sowed tears, sowed faith, sowed obedience. And I've been keeping perfect record of every scene, every surrender, every scar. Heaven's ink doesn't run dry. It doesn't forget. And it never overlooks sacrifice. What you did in secret, I am preparing to announce in the open. And child, understand this. Documentation means intention. I didn't just notice you in passing. I intentionally watch you, not to judge you but to draw. Every breath you took in defiance of despair, every time you clung to the last thread of hope, I documented it as a weapon, a testimony, a future monument to be revealed in the moment of breakthrough. I wasn't distant while you were unraveling. I was writing redemption into every moment of silence, writing strength into the pages of your pain, writing resurrection even when you thought it was the end of your story. My pen never stopped moving, and it still hasn't. So stop thinking you've been forgotten just because the crowd moved on. I never moved. While others rushed ahead, I was behind you, writing restoration, describing increase, detailing deliverance. And now, my beloved, I am flipping the page. Not to end your story, but to start the part where everything I wrote in silence becomes your evidence. You thought you were losing, but you were being recorded. And now, what was written is about to be revealed. Not just as a word, but as weight, as wonder, and as witness. My child, come closer, closer than comfort, closer than clarity. I need you to hear me with the depth of your soul, not the weariness of your wounds. Because you've carried things in silence that would have crushed stronger shoulders. You've walked through fire, through shadows, through seasons so heavy you could hardly breathe. And still, you chose love. Still, you chose kindness. Still, you chose me. And while the world clapped for louder victories, I was kneeling beside your quiet decisions. Those moments when no one saw the internal war you were fighting. Those split seconds when rage could have erupted from your pain, but you chose gentleness instead. I was there, watching, witnessing, weeping, and yes, noticing. Because what others miss, I marked. You see, I'm not moved by applause. I'm moved by alignment. And in those moments when you bled internally but still extended grace, heaven stood still. Child, do you understand? The angels paused. The scrolls opened, and I wrote your name beside words like mercy, forgiveness, long-suffering. The weight you carried wasn't wasted. It was weighing something in the spirit. Every time you chose light over bitterness, you were tipping scales in heavenly places. You were shifting atmospheres. You were confounding the enemy. You were being measured for something more than survival. You were being shaped for something holy. And now, I'm drawing back the veil. Because you need to know, truly know, that nothing you chose in pain was missed. Every time you loved without being loved back. Every time you gave when no one returned the gesture. Every time you fought the urge to curse the darkness and instead lit one small flicker of hope, I recorded it as worship. The kind of worship that turns chains into keys. The kind of obedience that alters generations. And now, I am placing a crown on what looked like crying. You carried that weight not just to survive it, but to reveal me through it. And you did. Oh child, you did. So don't diminish what you endured. Don't downplay the depth of what you carried. You didn't just hold on. You held back the forces of bitterness, rage, and despair, and you did it in my name. And now watch what I do in yours. For every act of hidden kindness, I'm releasing open favor. For every silent battle, I'm commanding loud victory. For every unnoticed sacrifice, I'm unleashing undeniable recompense. You didn't choose retaliation. You chose resurrection. And now, I'm raising everything that was buried under the weight you carried. Because I noticed. And now everyone will. Beloved, let's be honest. You felt the sting of being forgotten. You've watched others be celebrated for moments while your consistency went unseen for years. You smiled through their highlight reels while sitting in your own hidden valley. You questioned why your name kept being left out of the invitation, why your efforts seemed invisible, why your presence was tolerated but not treasured. I know that ache. I felt every unspoken grief that settled behind your smile. What they forgot, I featured. What they dismissed, I documented. While others overlooked, underestimated, or outright ignored the weight of your waiting. I was in heaven, spotlighting you in silence, highlighting your name with the ink of eternity. Your file was never buried beneath the dust of delay. It was marked urgent, divine, set apart. In the realm of men, delay looks like denial. But in my kingdom, delay is divine choreography. I don't lose track of names. I don't misplace destinies. While others saw a detour, I saw a design. Every time someone else was chosen before you, I was adding layers to your preparation. Not because you were forgotten, but because you were favored differently. While people promoted the loud, I prioritized the loyal. While others were being launched into temporary platforms, I was building eternal ones under your feet. That is why I kept you hidden. Not as punishment, but as protection. I didn't let the wrong people access you. I didn't allow the wrong moments to attach their names to what only heaven was meant to deliver. This was never about being overlooked. It was about being reserved. And now, child, I am opening what has been sealed. I am unlocking what's been stored behind the veil of timing. Your name isn't just written on a list, it's carved into a scroll. The kind of scrolls angels are assigned to guard. And now that scroll is being unrolled. Not because I changed my mind, but because the moment finally matched the magnitude of what I wrote. When I open a scroll, I don't open it halfway. I open it fully. The details I wrote into your life, the promises, the prayers, the preparation, they are not lost. They are not outdated. They are not irrelevant. They are arriving on schedule, precisely when the atmosphere, your soul, and my will align. So now, lean in. Because when heaven opens a file, hell trembles. When I highlight a name, the earth must respond. You won't need to chase visibility. You won't need to strive for recognition. The spotlight that's coming is not about ego. It's about evidence. Evidence that I saw what they didn't. That I valued what they overlooked. That I kept record when everyone else moved on. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are the headline of heaven's unveiling. And now, the scroll is open, and the silence has surrendered to my voice. Child, time has lied to you. Clocks have mocked you. Calendars have taunted your spirit with the weight of waiting, whispering lies dressed as logic. You've looked at birthdays past, seasons missed, opportunities that came and went, and you've wondered, did I miss it? Am I too late? But I am here to silence every ticking second that tried to convince you you're behind. I am not a God of delay. I am a God of divine design. I do not operate in man's minutes. I move in miraculous moments. You see time as linear. I see it as layered. And child, I never write a destiny without synchronizing it with supernatural timing. If the door didn't open then, it was because the room wasn't ready for you, not the other way around. When I say you're on time, I don't mean barely. I mean bullseye. I mean heaven's spotlight is turning precisely now, not early, not late, to align with the coordinates I carved in eternity. You are not off course. You are not disqualified. You are arriving like an arrow loosed at the exact second when impact is inevitable. Yes, others ran ahead. Yes, others seemed to get there faster. But what they reached was temporary. What I'm preparing you to walk into is timeless. You were never meant to keep pace with the world. You were born to keep rhythm with me. And my rhythm is revelation, not rush. My rhythm doesn't stutter. It summons. And right now, heaven is summoning you forward. Look around. The shift you feel isn't just emotional. It's eternal. The signs are speaking louder. The atmosphere is pregnant. The tension is birthing. Why? Because your arrival has been scheduled into this sacred hour. Not because you forced your way forward, but because you waited. And in my kingdom, waiting doesn't weaken timing, it welds it. Welds it to the strength of faith. Welds it to the power of trust. Welds it to a glory that man can't counterfeit. This moment, right here, is not a fluke. It is the now I declared when I first whispered your name into being. And now that now is opening. Not gently, not softly, but with a roar of holy precision. No more morning of time. No more apologizing for your pace. You are not behind. You are becoming. Becoming the kind of testimony that makes others question everything they thought they understood about timing, favor, and divine alignment. The world may measure time by what was missed. I measure it by what I've made ready. And child, you are ready. Not because time said so, but because I did. And when I say now, no delay, no demon, no doubt can stop what I've appointed. To walk forward boldly. This is not a late arrival. This is a divine entrance. My child, hear this clearly. What I'm doing in your life right now isn't about recognition. It's not about followers' applause or public validation. What I am releasing is revelation, the kind that cannot be faked, fabricated, or found outside of my presence. You've longed to be seen, and I understand why. The human heart aches for confirmation. But while the world gives attention, I give authority. And there is a vast difference. What I'm birthing in you does not require a spotlight. It requires glory. And child, your name is already written inside it. Not next to it. Not beneath it. Inside it. Engraved in golden light, hidden within the folds of my majesty, protected by the purity of my presence. You've wondered why the doors others walked through didn't open for you. Why their platforms appeared while your prayers went unanswered. And here is the truth that will shake the silence surrounding you. I wasn't setting you up for popularity. I was setting you apart for power. There are platforms that come from performance, and then there are places that can only be accessed through presence. You chose presence, and the choice cost you. It cost you opportunities, relationships, timing, Omedo. But I tell you now, it secured something far greater. The fire you've walked through has forged a revelation that can't be bought, can't be stolen, and can't be explained by human logic. This is not the season of shallow recognition. This is the moment of sacred unveiling. You see, glory doesn't shout. It settles. It doesn't seek attention. It commands it without asking. And the glory that is resting on your name now is not a result of striving. It is the fruit of surrender. Others chased affirmation. You chased me. Others asked for a platform. You asked for my presence. And because of that, you are not just being recognized, you are being revealed. The hidden parts of you that I've been cultivating in the secret place are about to shine with a light that isn't man-made. It's not artificial. It's authentic. Not celebrity, but consecration. Not likes, but legacy. So do not diminish what's coming by comparing it to what has been celebrated. You are not stepping into recognition. You are stepping into revelation. And revelation does not require permission. It does not knock. It breaks open. It interrupts timelines. It writes atmospheres. It shakes foundations. And it is about to erupt through your life like a tidal wave of holy fire. So let them overlook you. Let them doubt you. Let them forget your name. Because the one who formed you, forged you, and filled you has written your name inside my glory. And glory doesn't fade. Glory multiplies. Let me speak directly into the lie that's been tormenting your thoughts. The silence did not mean I changed my mind. It did not mean you were disqualified. It did not mean you were forgotten, replaced, or cast aside. The silence was not absence. It was atmosphere. It was me setting the stage. It was heaven holding its breath. You assumed that because the heavens seemed still, something must have gone wrong. But child, hear me. Stillness is not stagnation. Silence is not punishment. It is preparation. I don't make announcements in chaos. I prepare them in quiet. And what looked like a void was really the volume of heaven gathering behind a sealed door, waiting for this moment. The moment I declare, your name is on this. Yes, your name is on what's about to unfold. Not figuratively, not metaphorically, but literally, divinely, eternally. Written in letters of fire, signed with my breath, sealed with blood that still speaks louder than any accusation. I didn't delay the announcement because I forgot. I delayed it because what I'm about to release through you required maturity, gravity, and capacity. What I've written for you is too weighty to be carrying on premature shoulders. I didn't want to give you something you'd have to survive. I wanted to give you something you'd be able to sustain. And that's why I let the silence stretch. Because in the stretching, your spiritual lungs expanded, your discernment sharpened. Your endurance was no longer circumstantial. It became covenantal. Let the enemy be confused. Let doubt be dismantled. Let every voice that whispered maybe it's not going to happen now fall silent beneath the weight of this declaration. I never forgot your name. I was waiting for the hour I could see it in power, and that hour is now. Your name has been announced in the chambers of glory, and the echo of that name is shifting the natural. Things that were locked are starting to tremble. Timelines are beginning to bend. People are suddenly being stirred to remember you. Places you didn't even know were being prepared for you are now aligning. Why? Because the announcement has begun, and that announcement bears your name, etched in eternity, wrapped in authority, and charged with fulfillment. So come out of agreement with delay. Come out of agreement with the lie of disqualification. The silence wasn't a sign you were denied. It was a sign the announcement needed more weight. And now, child, that weight has arrived. The weight of glory. The weight of breakthrough. The weight of answered prayers wrapped in divine timing. And your name, the one you thought was forgotten, is now front and center in what I'm about to unfold. What's coming won't need explanation. It will speak for itself. Because when I write a name into a season, nothing can erase it. And I say to you now with clarity and conviction, your name is on what's coming next. Beloved, come closer, because I want you to hear me beyond the noise, beneath the pressure, deeper than doubt. There is a sacred accounting taking place that no man sees but all of heaven honors. You assume your secret sowing went unnoticed. You thought the quiet sacrifices you made, when no one was looking, when no applause followed, when no thank you echoed back, were buried in the silence. But hear me now, they were not buried. They were banked. They were sown into a soil only I see. And child, every single seed has been recorded in glory. You sowed when you had little. You gave when you needed. You forgave when you were wounded. And every act, no matter how small it felt in the moment, became divine ink in the hand of the author. Your tears were never wasted. They were used to write the chapter that only obedience can unlock. You see, I don't write names based on performances, I engrave them based on perseverance. And oh, how you have persevered. Through fatigue, through betrayal, through disappointment. Even in the absence of reward, You kept showing up. You showed up to love when it cost you. You showed up to pray when you felt dry. You showed up in faith when nothing around you validated the effort. And each time I took note, not like a supervisor tracking results, but like a father memorizing every detail of a child's devotion. Every tear didn't just fall, it fell into my hands. And I mixed those tears with oil, and I used that oil to write your name into places your feet haven't yet touched. You thought your prayers were floating into empty skies. But child, I was gathering them like treasure and placing them like stepping stones before your destiny. Let me reveal something now that the silence has served its purpose. While others sowed for attention, you sowed in intention. While others gave for reward, you gave from revelation. And that's why the field I've prepared for you doesn't look like theirs. Your field doesn't grow surface-level fruit. Your harvest isn't fast, but it is fire-tested. What I'm about to release into your life has been watered by weeping, fertilized by faith, and aligned by angels. And when it comes, it will come in waves, not trickles. It will not just bless you, it will elevate you. Elevate your name in rooms you never applied to. Elevate your voice in spaces where you were once silenced. Elevate your purpose until it overshadows the pain it cost to carry it. So do not regret the quiet places. Do not resent the sowing seasons. What you gave in secret is being rewarded in sight. And not because I owed it to you, but because I promised to honor those who choose me over visibility. The ground you thought was barren was pregnant. And now, beloved, the contractions of breakthrough have begun. Not because you strived, but because you sowed. Your name is not only remembered, it's respected in the heavens. And now it's about to be revealed in the earth. Child, pause for this, because what I am about to say will release you from a burden you've been carrying far too long. You do not need to convince anyone anymore. You don't have to explain your value. You don't have to justify your assignment. You don't have to beg people to believe in the oil I've placed upon your life. The records of heaven are already in alignment. Your name has been stamped with my seal. Your process has been witnessed by the courts of glory. And now the decision has been made. I am about to release what no man can stop, block, edit, or dilute. I know how exhausting it's been, trying to prove you were called while being questioned at every turn. I saw how your heart broke when those closest to you couldn't see what I was building in secret. How your voice trembled when you tried to describe what I placed inside you, only to be met with skepticism, silence, or shallow affirmations. But child, you are not crazy. You are called. And now you don't have to explain it anymore. Because what I'm doing next won't require defense. It will be demonstration. The kind that silences opinions, quiets critics, and causes even your enemies to say, "This could only be God." Let me take you deeper. The court of heaven never needed man's consent. When I made covenant with you, it wasn't open for debate. I didn't consult the crown. I didn't form a committee. I spoke your name in the council of the divine, and angels stood at attention. I authorized your path before your pain began. I assigned your anointing before your first mistake. And while others have tried to measure your worth based on their limited sight, I have seen your whole journey, from wilderness to worship, from weeping to warfare, from barely surviving to fully surrendering. I saw it all. And I didn't just see it, I documented it. And that documentation is now being activated. The seal is breaking. The scroll is opening. And what I wrote in private is about to speak in public. So child, lift your head. Take your hands off the need to be understood. You're not walking into this next chapter with the permission of people. You're walking in with the proof of my presence. No one can take credit for this. No one can block it. No one can edit what I've stamped with my blood. Heaven's record is higher than man's opinion. And the record says this: approved, anointed, appointed, sent. You don't have to prove anything anymore. Now, I will do the proving for you. And when I do, it will not be quiet. It will not be small. It will not be missed. Child, come closer. Let me speak directly to the wound the enemy keeps pressing. The one labeled regret. The one labeled disqualified. You've replayed your mistakes in your mind like a haunting melody. You've let shame whisper its false gospel, convincing you that the wrong choices you made, the missteps, the seasons of silence, somehow erased your place. But let me make this clear, crystal clear, heaven etched and spirit sealed. I did not write your name beside your mistake. I wrote your name beside your purpose. And I never confused the two. Yes, you failed. So have all who carry breath. But your failure is not your final word. It's merely a chapter in the story I authored long before your first breath. You keep reading the pages of your past, but I've already turned them. While you circled your weakness in red, I underlined your calling in gold. I never intended for your mistake to be the measure of your identity. I used it as the backdrop against which grace would shine even brighter. Don't you see? The very place you thought would disqualify you has now become the platform from which I'm about to reveal my power through you. The purpose hasn't died. It was deepening. You are not broken beyond use. You are not damaged goods. You are not the exception to redemption. The same blood that spoke "it is finished" still speaks your name in mercy. And not softly, not hesitantly, loudly, boldly, without apology. Because I see beyond your failure. I see your formation. I see who you became after the fall. I see how you didn't stay down. How you wrestled through the guilt. How you chose to worship with tear-stained cheeks and shaky hands. And that worship, not the flawless, perfect performance, is what moved heaven. It was in that worship that your name was freshly engraved beside your destiny, not your shame. And now, child, I say it with heaven's full authority, that purpose is unlocking. Doors you thought were sealed due to your mistakes are beginning to swing open. Not because you deserve it, but because I already decided it. I don't work on the merit of perfection. I work through surrendered imperfection. And yours has become a vessel of fire, not of failure. So rise, not in pride but in position. You were never meant to stay bowed beneath shame. You were always meant to rise and walk in purpose restored. This is not a restart. This is a release. And the release comes not in spite of your history, but through it. Because I didn't write your name beside your mistake. I wrote it beside your mission. And that mission begins now. And now, as I seal this moment into your spirit, hear me. You are not the only one whose name I long to call. There are others waiting in the shadows, aching for a word, searching for light. When you give, you are sowing oil into empty lamps, igniting fires that will burn through generations. Just as I said in Isaiah 55:11, my word shall not return void, and through you, it shall run swiftly. If it is in your heart to carry this message forward, then this is my invitation. Partner with me. Your seed is not a donation. It is a declaration. It declares, the word of God will not be silenced. I will multiply your gift, protect your harvest, and surround your household with favor. You'll now activate this moment. Use the super thanks membership with a link in the description. So where my voice has just met you. Child, take a breath. not just into your lungs, but deep into your soul. I need you to feel what I'm about to say, not just hear it. Your name has survived storms. Not gentle rains, not mild delays. I'm talking about raging storms. Storms that threaten to drown your identity, your sanity, your very will to live. I saw it. I saw the nights the tempest tore through your confidence. I saw the days you walked in a fog of grief so thick, even your prayers sounded muffled. And yet, through all of it, you did not give up. You may have staggered, but you didn't surrender. You may have whispered, but you didn't walk away. And for that, child, your name now carries weight. You don't realize it yet, but every time you stayed faithful when it was easier to flee, you added volume to your name in the realm of the spirit. Every yes when you had every reason to say no. Every forgiveness offered through clenched fists and broken hearts. Every act of mercy that defied betrayal. Every time you said, Lord, I trust you, even as everything was crumbling beneath your feet. It was forming substance. You didn't just survive a storm, you became a storm breaker, a pattern shifter, a curse cutter, and heaven knows it. Your name rings differently now, not just in the mouths of angels, but in the strategies of my plans. Because your endurance, quiet as it was, has been loud in heaven. The weight your name carries isn't just favor. It's fire-tested authority. The kind of authority that doesn't need to shout to be felt. It's in your posture. It's in your intercession. It's in the way you walk into a room with nothing but my spirit and shift the atmosphere. You thought you were unnoticed, but in truth, you've been marked. And not with scars of defeat, but with signatures of survival. You're not limping, you're leading. And not leading from pride, but from proven pain. And that is why I'm now placing a fresh mantle on your life, not because you asked for it, but because you qualified for it through fire. So stop comparing yourself to others who rose without storms. They may have elevation, but you carry establishment. They may have platforms, but you carry presence. Your name didn't just make it through. It grew through. And that's why I can trust you now with things I couldn't before. Because you're not driven by applause, you're grounded in assignment. And assignment doesn't come to the aggressive, it comes to the imprinted. And your soul bears the imprint of endurance. That is why, child, your name now carries weight in my kingdom. Not as a decoration, as a declaration. And that declaration is about to be demonstrated. Child, lean in, because this may be the healing you didn't know you needed. You've tried so hard. You've spent years attempting to prove that you're worthy, that you're not a mistake, that you're not a disappointment. You've measured yourself against expectations that were never mine, and you've worn masks just to feel accepted. You've pushed, pressed, and poured yourself out to earn what I already gave freely. And now I come to you not with judgment, but with truth, holy, burning, liberating truth. I didn't wait for your perfection to write your name. I wrote it in love before you ever performed. Yes, before you knew how to walk in purpose. Before you understood my voice. Before you could quote the verses or master the disciplines. Before you got it right. I knew your future, and still, I chose you. Still, I whispered your name into the eternal scrolls. I didn't write it because of your strength. I wrote it knowing your weakness, knowing your questions, knowing your wandering, knowing you'd fall, and still, I sealed your name in light. Because, child, my love has never been a reward for achievement. It's always been a revelation of identity. You've never had to become someone for me to want you. I've always wanted you. Let me peel back the shame that's wrapped itself around your soul. That lie that says, If I had done better, maybe God would have moved sooner. If I had believed harder, maybe this delay wouldn't exist. No, that is not my voice. My love is not built on your performance. My favor is not activated by your perfection. I don't bless you because you earned it. I bless you because I promised. And that promise wasn't given to a future version of you. It was given to this version, the one still learning, still breaking, still reaching. I wrote your name in my book not in ink of approval, but in the blood of mercy. You can't erase it with failure, and you can't increase it with success. So let go of the striving. Let go of the anxiety that says you need to be better for me to move. I don't move because of your polish. I move because of your posture. And your posture, beloved, has already turned my heart. Your desire to be near me, even when you feel unworthy, has already captured my attention. I don't need you to earn anything. I need you to receive what's already yours. Your name is written, not conditionally, not temporarily, but eternally. And I'm not rewriting it based on your performance. I'm reaffirming it based on my love. And that love, it is relentless, it is unshakable, and it is ready to release everything that's been waiting for your rest, not your effort. Child, you need to know, really know, that your name is not just a label. It's a sound, a divine vibration in the spirit realm, a frequency that echoes through dimensions, carrying with it authority, testimony, and calling. When I formed you, I didn't just write your name, I spoke it. And in that sound, I planted a signature that hell recognizes and heaven protects. That's why you've been fought so hard, because your name carries sound waves of shift. It doesn't just exist to, it interrupts. It doesn't just echo, it enforces. Every time you speak in faith, even in whispers, the sound of your name grows stronger. When you pray through the pain, when you worship through the warfare, when you declare truth even with trembling lips, the sound of your name grows louder. Not in volume, but in weight. It builds spiritual mass. It begins to take shape in the unseen. It commands attention. That's why darkness has tried to mute you. That's why your voice has been attacked. That's why discouragement keeps trying to muffle your calling. Because hell knows, when your name reaches full frequency, atmospheres must shift. Let me show you what's happening now. Your sound is being amplified, not by technology, not by talent, but by time, trust, and testing. What I've built in you, through delay, through rejection, through seasons of silence, has forged a name that doesn't just survive in the spirit. It commands. Angels know it. They've been assigned to it. Demons tremble at it, not because of who you are, but because of who you carry. The weight of my glory is now wrapping around your name, child. And that name is beginning to resonate, not just in your home, not just in your city, but across dimensions. So don't back down. Don't go quiet now. I'm raising the volume of your purpose. I'm fine-tuning the sound of your surrender. And what was once just a whisper in the dark is about to become a soundtrack to someone else's deliverance. This isn't noise. This is naming. This is me speaking again what I already wrote before the foundations of the world. This one is mine. And when they speak, I move. So speak, child. Declare. Pray. Prophecy. Because your name isn't just written, it's roaring. And nothing, not hell, not history, not hesitation, can stop the sound of what I've placed on your life. Child, let me settle this once and for all. You are not some random result of circumstance. You are not here by coincidence, by chance, or by accident. You were chosen with precision. Chosen not on a whim, not as a backup plan, not because someone else dropped out, but because you were always mine. When I created the blueprints of the galaxies, when I flung stars into space and painted light across darkness, I also spoke your name. And I didn't whisper it. I declared it. With fire, with force, with finality. And every syllable of your identity was carved into the fabric of heaven with eternal intention. You see, I didn't just name you. I knew you. I didn't just assign you breathe. I assigned you destiny. And non-generic, recycled destiny. No, divine, custom-made, crafted in the fire destiny. Your purpose was hand-forged in the furnace of my wisdom, shaped in the secret place of eternity, and written in a scroll before you ever tasted oxygen. You were not a maybe. You were a mandate. And the enemy has tried everything, through trauma, through rejection, through delay, to make you question the accuracy of your assignment. But I come now to confront every lie that told you your life was unremarkable, your future unpredictable, your purpose unrecognizable. I carved your name with purpose. I sealed it with fire. And what I've sealed, no man can unwrite. That's why you've always felt different. That's why you've never quite fit the molds others tried to pour you into. It's because you weren't made to blend. You were made to burn. You were never built to conform. You were designed to carry combustion. You've been marked by purpose so specific, so sacred, that even in your wilderness seasons, I was watching over the flame. Even when you doubted, the fire I sealed you with never went out. It may have flickered, it may have dimmed, but it never died. And now, that flame is being fanned. The winds of my spirit are blowing across your soul again, not to destroy you, but to ignite what has always been within you. So let this be the line drawn in the sand. You are not the result of randomness. You are the fulfillment of revelation. You are not fighting for a seat at the table. I built the table with your name already engraved on the chair. And now, beloved, I am calling you to rise into it. Not with hesitation, not with guilt, but with holy confidence. Because when I carved your name, I carved it knowing the fullness of who you would become. And now, the fire I sealed you with is about to announce you to the world. Come closer, child. I see your mind spinning, heart racing, spirit weary. You've been analyzing every detail, overthinking every possibility, trying to calculate my movement based on patterns and probabilities. You've asked me when, Lord. How will it happen? What must I do to make it work? But I need you to understand, this next move is not mathematical. It's miraculous. It's not rooted in formulas or logic. It's rooted in favor, and that favor is attached to your name. Not because of what you figured out, but because of who I've called you to be. You can't research your way into what I'm about to release. You can't plan your way into what I've already prepared. I see you building strategies in your mind, trying to reverse engineer breakthrough, trying to do everything right so nothing goes wrong. But child, this isn't a problem to solve. This is a promise to receive. What's coming will bypass the laws of reason. It will break the rules of time. It will make no sense to the natural mind, because it will be born from the supernatural. That's what favor does. Favor doesn't need permission. Favor isn't predictable. Favor finds you, wraps around your name like a banner, and pulls the future into your now. So rest, my child. Rest in knowing that your destiny isn't hanging on the thread of your understanding. It's anchored in my decision. And I've already decided to bless you. Not because you calculated the correct formula, but because you trusted me when it didn't add up. You honored me when the answers didn't come. You kept walking when the path made no sense. And that, beloved, is what activates favor. That is what causes doors to swing open without keys. That is what causes rooms to remember you without resumes. This isn't about your plan. This is about my presence. And where my presence is, favor flows like a river, and it's flowing toward you. Let go of the spreadsheet. Lay down the formula. Favor is faith's fragrance, not effort's evidence. And child, your name carries that fragrance now. The oil that's on your life is about to provoke recognition you didn't apply for, answers you didn't ask for, help you didn't expect. You've done your part. Now watch me do mine. I don't need your perfection. I need your positioning. And you're in position now. Watch what favor does. Watch what I do with a name that carries my mark. Watch how quickly things shift when heaven says, now. This isn't a formula. This is favor. And it's coming with your name written all over it. Beloved, pause with me for a moment, not just with your body, but with your spirit. Let me settle the unrest you've carried, the tension that's pressed into your chest like a weight you cannot shake. You've grown weary trying to open doors that seem sealed shut. You've knocked. You waited. You've prayed. And still, nothing moved. It felt like silence stood guard behind every opportunity. Rejection became familiar. Delay became normal. And deep down, the question echoed, Lord, did you forget me? But hear me now, with the thunder of truth and the tenderness of love. I did not forget you. I was preparing rooms with your name already etched on the door. Yes, rooms. Not random opportunities, not recycled assignments, but custom-designed spaces that were always intended for you. These rooms are not built by man's effort. They are constructed in the unseen, in the sacred chambers of my will. I have gone before you, not to observe, but to orchestrate. I've sent my angels ahead of you, not just to guard, but to govern the gates of favor. And the doors they are unlocking won't require your credentials, only your obedience. What I'm about to do is not about networking. It's about naming. And the name I'm using to open these next doors is yours. You spent seasons trying to qualify yourself for rooms that weren't built to hold the weight of your anointing. And I had to let them reject you, not because you were unworthy, but because they were too small. You have what you thought you were way to own. And now I am preparing room. Room for your gift to expand without compromise. Room for your voice to carry without censorship. Room for your heart to heal even as you lead. Room for your mantle to rest without mockery. I am not sending you where you are merely tolerated. I am sending you where you have been chosen. And the name on the door, it has always been yours. So release the striving. Let go of the trying to be seen. You don't need to pound on doors that require blood, sweat, and burnout. The doors I open don't demand your exhaustion. They respond to my authority. And now, that authority is moving on your behalf. Angels are walking into rooms right now with scrolls that carry your name. They are unlocking timelines. They are stirring hearts. They are softening the very people who once said no, preparing them to welcome you with a yes they can't even explain. This is not karma. This is not coincidence. This is kingdom. And kingdom doors do not require you to beg. They require you to belong. And beloved, you belong. Not because you clawed your way in, but because you were called in. You are not crashing the party. You are fulfilling prophecy. Your name is not scribbled in pencil. It is engraved in glory, and that engraving is now being read aloud in places you never imagined. So be still, be ready, and be bold. The doors are opening, and this time, you won't have to knock, because I've already gone ahead of you. Child, come into this moment with open hands and a receptive heart, because what I am about to reveal is not just a comfort, it is a confirmation. You've been sensing something, haven't you? A holy stirring, a spiritual pressure that almost feels like expectation rising from the deep. That's because you are nearing the inheritance, the one I set aside not just for anyone, but specifically for you. This is not a shared prize. This is not leftover blessing. This is reserved glory, and your name is written on it untouched, unspoiled, waiting for the fullness of time. You thought you missed it. That may be too many wrong turns, too many years wasted, too many almosts and not yet's meant it passed you by. But I say to you now, your inheritance didn't move. It waited. Because I don't release what is holy until what is holy in you is ready to carry it. And beloved, you are ready now. You've been tried. You've been tested. You've been refined through fire and silence. And now, what was reserved is being released. This isn't a trickle. It's a transfer. Not a portion, but full possession. The vault is opening. The seal is breaking. And what you thought was delayed is being delivered. Let me tell you about this inheritance. It's not just finances, though provision will flow. It's not just opportunities, though doors will open. It's not just influence, though your voice will rise. This inheritance is multidimensional and touches every realm: spiritual, emotional, relational, generational. It includes peace that passes understanding, joy that returns with vengeance, restoration in places you buried hope, favor that rewrites your story in rooms you never entered, legacy that will outlive your lifetime. This is not a reward. This is a right. And you are walking into it not as a visitor, but as a rightful heir. So stand up in your spirit. Cast off the garments of unworthiness. I didn't reserve this for the future version of you. I reserved it for you. The real you. The bruised you. The broken yet believing you. And now, as heaven opens the inheritance, the earth will respond. What you sowed in tears will return in power. What you believed in the dark will shine in the light. The scroll is being read. The seal is being removed. And my voice is proclaiming across the realm of the seen and unseen. This one, yes, this one, has come into possession of what was always theirs. My child, there have been voices, harsh, loud voices, that said you are not enough. There have been nights when you whispered to yourself, maybe I don't matter. When the world rejected your offering, when people misunderstood your story, you wondered if the rejection defined you. You saw your worth reflected through broken mirrors instead of my eyes. You let doubt shape your self-image. When criticisms reigned, you bent, you covered, you carried the weight of not worthy like a burden far too heavy for tender shoulders. But oh, hear me. While they questioned your worth, I was busy inscribing it. I was writing your value in letters of glory and fire. While they judged your edges, I embraced your essence. When they saw failure, I saw faith. When they saw brokenness, I saw beauty. The pages were being written even when your hands shook. Do you remember the nights of tears? The mornings when the sun rose but hope seemed stillborn. You thought that absence meant abandonment. You thought silence meant no promise. Yet in those darkest hours, I underlined your purpose. I emphasized it. I amplified it. I lit a candle in your spirit, even when everything around you seems smothered in darkness. Because here is truth. Your purpose is not an afterthought. It's not a plan B. It's my proclamation. I formed you for something unique. I gave you assignments that others cannot live. I planted seeds in your heart, seeds you could barely nourish, seeds you could barely see, but they were there. And under every doubt, under every tear, under every heartbreak, your purpose was growing underground, gathering strength, ripening for its unveiling. I want you to receive this. Worth is not your performance. Worth is my promise. Purpose is not measured by applause, by followers, by visible success. No. Purpose is anointed. Purpose is woven in my will. When you felt invisible, I saw. When you felt unqualified, I crafted. When you felt small, I prepared you for mountains. I did not wait for you to climb high to declare your purpose. I declared purpose while you were still laying stones of faith, one by one. Even when your vision wavered, I held the blueprint steady. Even when your steps faltered, I kept marking the path with my light. I underlined your calling in colors of covenant. I inscribed your significance beyond condemnation, beyond shame, beyond the lies. So now, beloved, let the world's questions fall back into silence. Let every accusation lose its hold. Your name is more than rumors. Your identity is deeper than what others have said. Your purpose is louder than the voices that tried to drown you. When they questioned your worth, I inscribed it. When you questioned your purpose, I underlined it. And now I declare, what is written cannot be revoked. What is underlined cannot be ignored. What is meant cannot be postponed. The proof of my hand is all around you, waited, witnessed, ready. Rise in this truth. You are not defined by their questions. You are defined by my inscription, my underlining, my sacred design. My beloved child, you, yes you, have been mislooked at many times. Others saw your wilderness and assumed abandonment. Others saw your seasons of waiting and labeled them delay. They saw failures and felt disgust. They saw fragments of your heart, your dreams shattered, your trust cracked. And in their eyes, broken meant discarded. Delay meant disqualified. Pieces meant worthless. But I saw beyond what they saw. I saw deep work. I saw my hand refining you, through the fires, through the silence, through the nights when your soul could barely whisper faith. I saw growth hidden beneath bruising, restoration tucked behind every tear, resurrection stirring beneath every collapse. While they judged by what they saw, I judged by what I formed. I judged by what I spoke. And I judged by every time you held on, even when your grip was slipping. You thought that broken pieces meant you'd never be whole. You thought delay meant the season was lost. You thought shattered dreams would never be rebuilt. But I do not build with perfection. I build with faithfulness. I build in the secret. I build where no one is watching. And what I build through brokenness is strong, strength that cannot be copied, character that cannot be counterfeit. Deep work is invisible work, but powerful. Rebuilding takes time. And the broken pieces, when surrendered, become part of a mosaic, beautiful, unique, sacred. Each crack becomes a line of light. Each shattered fragment becomes a prism through which my glory shines. Each season of delay becomes an incubator for new dimension, new sound, new authority. Look at your hands. You see the scars, the pain, the moments you fell and felt undone. They are not marks of shame. They are marks of my craftsmanship. They tell a story, one of endurance, one of purpose, one of fidelity when the world turned away. When they looked at you and saw delay, I saw deep work. When they saw pieces broken, I saw something being built. And not just being built, but being designed, being prepared, being raised. I prepared you for weight. I prepared you for fire. I prepared you for glory. The time of preparation has been happening. The work beneath has been happening. The building in the shadow has been happening. So let the pieces speak. Let your scars testify. Let your delays become the drum beats of your destiny. This is not delay. This is development. This is deep work. What was broken is being made beautiful. What was delayed is now being deployed. What was shattered is now being shined through. And the masterpiece I'm creating with your life is about to be revealed. Not in fragments. Not half-built, but whole. Fully built. Fully yours. Your name will not be whispered in shame. It will be proclaimed in power. Because when I build eternally. And you, beloved, are my eternal work. Child, I know there were moments you mistook my quietness for distance. I know how heavy it felt when the answers didn't come, when the nights bled into days and the heavens seemed unresponsive. You wept into your pillow, feeling like your prayers bounced back as echoes. You searched the skies for signs and received none. And in that silence, you began to ask dangerous questions. Is God even listening? Did I miss him? Did I fail too deeply for him to respond? But today I bring clarity that will shake the foundations of your weariness. I was never silent because I was absent. I was silent because I was scripting. You see, silence is not my withdrawal. It is often my workshop. It is in the quiet that I carve the most sacred sentences of your story. You wanted me to speak with noise, but I was writing with nuance. I was layering depth into your calling, placing weight behind your destiny. You thought nothing was happening, but in the spirit realm, scrolls were unfolding, strategies were aligning, and angelic assignments were being written with your name at the top. When you saw delay, I saw development. When you saw nothing moving, I was moving everything, just beyond your sight. Because some things are too holy for the surface. Some things must be written in the depths, sealed in silence, and then brought forth in suddenness. Even the world misunderstands this. They say silence is a void. They say absence is abandonment. But I say silence is sovereignty. When I seem most still, I am often most strategic. Look again at the seasons when you heard nothing, and now look at who you became through them. You emerged with discernment, with authority, with resilience you didn't have before. Those weren't empty days. They were holy days. Days of divine dictation. Days when I was drafting chapters of your life that had never been lived before on earth. You thought I was distant, but I was closer than breath, pen in hand, etching your journey with flames of purpose. So here is my promise. What I scripted in secret is about to be revealed in sight. The story I authored while you waited is about to speak loudly. You won't just hear my voice. You will see my handwriting. Doors are about to open with paragraphs written just for you. Conversations are coming that were scripted by angels. Alignment is arriving with the ink of my timing. And when it comes, you'll look back and say, that's what the silence was for. Because, child, I was never absent. I was authoring. And now, your story is about to turn the page. You walked through the fire with me. You've heard me whisper through the silence. And now, you stand marked, not just with a word, but with a mission. I wrote your name, but I also wrote the names of others, and through your obedience, they too will hear mine. When you support this ministry, you're not just giving, you're opening scrolls for others. You're funding the sound of heaven echoing into hearts that feel forgotten. 2 Corinthians 9:8 is alive over you now, and God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things you will abound in every good work. Let your giving be a breakthrough. I will bless it. I will multiply it. Go now, click Super Thanks, become a member, or use the PayPal link below. Don't just receive my word, help release it. Come here, my child. Come close enough to hear the truth that contradicts what you felt. You believed you were buried. You felt the weight of darkness pressed down on you like soil closing in. You lost sight. You lost sound. You lost sensation. The grief, the rejection, the disappointment. It all convinced you that something in you had died, that your destiny had been covered, that your potential had been discarded. But now, I interrupt that narrative with a truth so powerful, so liberating. It will crack the lies like dry earth. You were not buried. You were planted. Yes, planted, intentionally, divinely, prophetically. I took what looked like defeat and turned it into development. I covered you not to kill you, but to prepare you. I allowed the hiddenness not to punish you, but to protect you. Because some growth can only happen underground, in the dark, in the pressure, in the silence. That wasn't a coffin, child. That was a cocoon. A place where death makes room for transformation. And though no one celebrated you during those seasons, though others walked away, though even your own mind betrayed you with whispers of despair, I stayed. I watered. I watched. I waited. And now the soil is breaking. The roots you did know were growing have now anchored you. You didn't see them, but they've been forming strength, wisdom, discernment, depth. All the things shallow soil could never have given you. And now, I say it with all the authority of heaven, it is time to rise. Not solely, not apologetically, not with guilt or shame, with glory. Rise into visibility. Rise into impact. Rise into the fullness of the name I have written over you. They may have walked away when you were hidden, but they will witness what comes forth when I call you into bloom. You are not emerging weak. You are emerging warring. You are not rising fragile. You are rising formed. And the growth about to be seen in your life will be a sign to many that I do my best work in the soil, in the secret, in the silence. The harvest about to burst forth from your life will shake those who wrote you off, not as revenge, but as revelation. They will see that you were not buried. You were planted. And what I plant, I water. What I water, I grow. And what I grow, my guide. Child, the earth is shifting beneath your feet. The ground can no longer hold you. The shell has broken. The seed has awakened. The sun has risen. And now, beloved, so will you. Beloved, lean in. Because this is not just a message, it is a moment. You spent so much time wondering if I still remember you. The days turned into years. The promises turned into questions. The dreams became almost too painful to revisit. You saw others rise. You watched others be called, commissioned, celebrated. And though you celebrated them with sincerity, deep down you asked, "What about me, Lord? Did you forget my name?" No, child. I never forgot. In fact, I never even misplaced you. And now, not only am I remembering your name, I am announcing it. Yes, announcing it. Speaking it into realms that have long resisted you. Declaring it before angels, before leaders, before kings and gatekeepers. Here is a sound going forth. and that sound is your name wrapped in my authority. When I announce, things shift. I don't need an invitation. I don't ask for permission. When I speak, creation responds. And I am speaking your name now, not as a whisper, but as a divine decree. The timing is no longer waiting. The tables are being set. The stage is being turned. And where you were once ignored, you are about to be acknowledged, not for ego, but for impact. Not for applause, but for assignment. You've walked through years of invisibility not because you were irrelevant, but because your emergence needed to be pure. I was shielding you from premature exposure. I was protecting the oil I placed on your life. But now, the season of sacred hiddenness is shifting. The trumpet is sounding, and your name is being announced to the right ears. People you don't even know are beginning to feel drawn to you. Platforms you didn't chase are beginning to make room for you. Conversations are happening behind doors you never knocked on, because I am the one who speaks your name into existence. So, rest your heart. You don't need to campaign. You don't need to network your way into the next level. Your announcement is divine. It is rooted in prophecy, not politics. It is birthed from the scrolls of heaven, not the systems of man. And when I announce, no one can mute what I amplify. Not jealousy, not history, not limitation. This is the sound of recognition coming into alignment with revelation. And it begins now. The same God who whispered your name in the womb is now shouting it in the spirit. It ready not just to be seen but to be sent. Because when I announce a name, it always comes with movement. My child, oh my child, I felt that moment when you sat alone, your heart exhausted, your hope bleeding out onto the floor of your soul. You did announce it to anyone, but internally, you gave up. Quietly. Secretly. You folded the dream. You silenced the promise. You told yourself, maybe it wasn't real. Maybe I made it up. Maybe it's not for me anymore. You tried to protect yourself from disappointment by walking away from the very thing you once held close. You stopped praying like you used to. You stopped expecting like you once did. You changed your mind about you. But listen to me now. With all of heaven backing this word, I have not changed my mind about you. You may have seen failure. I saw formation. You may have called it a delay. I called it development. You may have thought you missed it. I saw you being made ready. I am not intimidated by your questions. I'm not offended by your fatigue. I knew exactly where your faith would wobble, and still, I chose you. I knew what would break your heart, and still, I blessed you. I knew what would make you doubt, and still, I destined you. You are not disqualified because you got tired. You are not dismissed because you doubted. Your identity was never based on your perfection. It was based on my promise. Do you think your doubt was too much for me to carry? Do you believe your weariness can cancel my will? No, child. My decisions are not made in reaction to your weakness. They are made in response to my eternal love. And that love is unshakable. That love is unmoved by the storms of your humanity. When you walked away from the vision, I walked closer to you. When you closed the book, I bookmarked the last page you believe and said, we'll start again here. Because I don't throw away stories, I restore them. I don't erase callings, I reawaken them. And yours is being reawakened now. So come out from the shadows of self-doubt. Come out from the fog of shame. My mercy doesn't just forgive, it recommissions. You are not who your last mistake said you are. You are who my word says you are. And I say this to you now with holy finality. I have not changed my mind. My calling still stands. My promises are still yes and amen. And my hand is still stretched toward you, not to punish, but to pull you forward. Let go of what you told yourself to cope. Pick up what I told you to carry. The mantle still fits. The mission still breathes. And the name I gave you before the foundation of the world still echoes in the halls of glory. I haven't changed my mind, child. And I never will. My child, you have felt what it's like to be forgotten, passed over, disregarded. There were moments when others treated you as if you were replaceable, disposable, like your presence didn't matter and your absence wouldn't be noticed. You sat in rooms where your voice wasn't heard. You've been part of circles where your heart wasn't held. You've watched them promote others, celebrate others, call out others, and your name left lingering in silence. I felt that sting with you. I saw the tears you never showed. But now I must speak to what they tried to bury, because what they tried to erase, I kept writing. Yes, I kept writing. Even when they forgot your name, I didn't. Even when they dismissed you, I was etching your name deeper into my eternal plans. You see, their erasure has no power over my inscription. Their silence cannot cancel my script. They cannot vote you out of what I wrote you into. Every time they tried to push you into the background, I moved you deeper into the blueprint. Every no they gave you became a yes in my design. Every closed door became a redirect to a better place, a pure space. And child, that space is now opening. You weren't being erased. You were being refined. You weren't being excluded. You were being exalted, in the quiet. I don't promote the way people promote. I don't affirm the way the world affirms. I validate through fire. I elevate through testing. And when they stopped calling your name, I started preparing platforms you didn't even pray for. I began shifting timelines, unlocking coordinates, whispering your name in the ears of those with authority to open the right doors. Not out of pity, but because you are my choice. Not a default. Not an alternate. My first choice. So hear me. The season of being overlooked is over. The era of invisibility is ending. They don't need to remember your name. Heaven never forgot it. And now I am honoring the name I wrote, not in ink, but in blood and light and legacy. You will be recognized not because of applause, but because of assignment. You will be seen, not because you forced it, but because I framed it. I wrote your name with my own hand, and that name is now echoing through eternity, calling you forward. What they forgot, I etched. And what I etched, I will now establish. Beloved, you've walked through battles others couldn't see. Spiritual ambushes, emotional minefields, mental warfare so intense, it nearly shattered you. The enemy didn't just attack your circumstances, he attacked your name, your identity, your purpose, your why. He didn't care about your house or your job. He came after the word over your life. He came after your identity because he knows that when you understand who you are, you become unstoppable. But I need you to hear me clearly. Your name is not fragile. It's fortified. Yes, fortified. That means battle-proof. Blood-sealed. Fire-forged. Do you really think I would write your name into my plan, and then let it be erased by opposition? No. I have built strength around you that cannot be explained. You felt weak, but you are war-tested. You've wanted to quit, but you're still standing. That's not chance. That's not luck. That is evidence of fortification. When the enemy came in like a flood, I raised up a standard. When the arrows came, I shielded your soul. And every wound you carry is now becoming a weapon. Every scar is becoming a sign. You were not made to shatter. You were made to shine. You are not designed for collapse. You were designed for conquest. And what has been written over your life, that holy assignment, that sacred purpose, cannot be cancelled by warfare. In fact, the warfare has become part of the witness. It has shaped your voice, sharpened your discernment, and made you dangerous to darkness. That's why hell keeps coming. Because even hell knows your name. And it trembles every time you rise, every time you pray, every time you speak the truth anyway. So I say to you now, rise in strength. Not from strident but from knowing. Knowing that your name isn't hanging by a thread. It's held by my covenant. Secured in my sovereignty. Rooted in eternal promise. And that name, your name, is fortified. Fortified by every trial you survived. Fortified by every yes you gave me when it hurt. Fortified by every unseen battle you fought and didn't give up. So no, the warfare didn't win. It revealed. And what it revealed is this: you are unshakable, because I have made you so. What's written on your life is permanent, and it's about to be public. My precious one, I need you to hear me with your spirit now, not just your ears. You have been carrying the unspoken fear that what I promised you could somehow be undone. That maybe it's too late. That maybe someone else's influence, someone else's words, or even your own mistakes have overwritten what I first said. But hear this: what I have written over your life is not subject to editing by human hands. It is sealed. It is settled. It is sovereign. People will have opinions. People will offer labels. Some will even attempt to rewrite your story, twisting chapters, misinterpreting motives, painting you in shades that are not true to who you are. But while they scribble on margins, I write on scrolls, eternal scrolls, and my handwriting doesn't fade. What I have spoken over you was not a whisper of uncertainty. It was a decree, and decrees cannot be debated. What I wrote, I meant, and what I meant, I will manifest. You must know this now. No one can reduce what I've designed to expand. They may try to shrink your name to a rumor, your influence to a moment, your purpose to a footnote. But reduction only works when you believe them. And I am calling you to rise out of agreement with every minimizing voice. I didn't call you to be almost. I didn't anoint you to live as an echo. I didn't breathe destiny into you so it could be downsized by other people's discomfort. You are not too much. You are exactly what I designed, in size, in scope, in sound. And neither can anyone revoke what I have authored. Not even you. Not even on your worst day. I saw every fall before I wrote your future. I factored in every failure and still stamped your name with promise. My writing over you is not in pencil. It is inscribed in fire, carved into eternity. And I say now with heavenly clarity, no devil, no delay, no doubt could revoke what I have written. You may have walked away from the page, but the page didn't walk away from you. It waits. It waits with glory. It waits with power. And it calls you back, now, to remember, your name is written, and no one can rewrite what is mine. My child, how long have you felt like a side character? Like your role in the kingdom was to support others, cheer for others, watch others be chosen while you faded quietly into the background. You've been the encourager, the prayer warrior, the one who serves with faithfulness but often stands in the shadows. You said, I'm okay if I'm never seen. And yes, your humility has been pure. But I want to tell you now, I didn't write you in as a background extra. I wrote you as breakthrough. Yes, breakthrough. You are not an accessory in this move of God. You are a catalyst. I placed power in your mouth, fire in your prayers, light in your eyes. You don't just participate in the battle, you shift the outcome. You don't just support destiny, you carry it. I made you to tear down walls, to unlock doors, to loose chains. You are not passive in my narrative, you are essential to it. The pages cannot turn without your yes. The story cannot unfold without your obedience. Your name has been placed not in fine print, but in bold letters across chapters of awakening. You've played small because it felt safer. Because when you've tried to step forward before, others resisted, others mocked, others tried to clip your wings before they could spread. So you retreated. You convinced yourself, maybe I'm just supposed to stay behind the scenes. But I did not anoint you for hiding. I anointed you for harvest. I anointed you for high places. You are not rising out of ambition. You are rising out of alignment. And when you rise, others rise too. Because your breakthrough is not only for you, it's for them. For your family. For your sake. For every life connected to your name. This is the hour of holy emergence. The scroll has reached the chapter where your name is no longer whispered, but declared. Where your impact is no longer hidden, but revealed. Where your portion is no longer delayed, but delivered. You are central to what I'm doing. Not in pride, but in prophecy. Not in ego, but in essence. I chose you to be a signpost, a foreigner, a voice that breaks the silence. The next pages cannot unfold until you say yes. And I am standing beside you now, hand extended, voice unwavering, saying, you are not in the background. You are the breakthrough, and the story will not move without you. Come closer, child. Closer still. Let me speak this final word into the deepest part of you, into the place where doubt once echoed and hope dared not speak. You were not written into history by accident. You are not a side note in someone else's narrative. You are not a name that will fade when the applause stops or when the room empties. No. Your name was carved into my plan before time began, with eternity in mind. I didn't write you for a moment. I wrote you for a movement. And what I've set in motion through you is unstoppable. When I wrote your name, it wasn't in response to earthly applause or temporary trends. I wasn't reacting to what others thought of you. I wasn't adjusting to your surroundings. I was acting on eternity. From the beginning, I saw every moment you would live, every pain you would face, every valley you would walk through, and still, I wrote your name, not with trembling hesitation, but with fierce intention. I didn't write your name on sand. I etched it into glory. My hand didn't shake. My voice didn't waver. I wasn't experimenting. I was establishing. I was calling forth a life that would be both a sign and a sanctuary. You were written into this world not to survive the chaos, but to shift it. You were designed not just to breathe the air of others, but to carry the wind of heaven. There's a weight on your life that cannot be measured by success or fame. It's the weight of eternal intention. I wrote you to reflect my nature, to carry my fragrance, to interrupt cycles of bondage and unlock realms of freedom. There are movements inside of you, rivers that haven't even begun to flow yet. Generations will drink from what I'm pouring through you. Lives will change because you dare to say yes to the name I wrote over you. You thought this journey was just about you, but it's bigger. You carry not only your calling but a divine ripple. Your obedience is echoing into lives you haven't met yet. Your presence shifts atmospheres, not because of your charisma, but because of your consecration. You've walked with me in secret. You've chosen me over platforms. And now, The name I wrote before time is about to be revealed in time, for the sake of eternity. You were written to be forgotten. You were written to be fulfilled. And now, fulfillment is drawing near. So rise, not as a question mark, but as an exclamation of heaven's intent. Rise knowing that every chapter of your life has been authored with precision, that nothing was wasted, that not a single moment was random. The hard years, the silent seasons, the private weeping, all of it was woven into the fulfillment of the name I gave you. And this name, child, this name is not bound by time. It is rooted in forever. I am not finished. I am unfolding. And what is coming next will not just affirm your worth. It will awaken your legacy. Your name is written, not for a moment, but for a movement. And now I ask you, will you help me write the names of others into the pages of eternity? When you give, you become the pen in my hand. Every seed you sow is a stream in the desert, a lamp in the night, manna to the hungry soul. Give, and it shall be given to you. I declared in Luke 6:38, and I declare it again to you, right now. This is not about money. This is about momentum. I am moving, and your gift is the spark that ignites revival in someone else's life. I will cover your giving with favor, with fire, and with overflow. So move now, don't wait. Tap Super Thanks, join membership, or give through the PayPal link below. Your name is written. Now help write theirs. Now, my child, if you felt my voice burning through these words, then respond. Don't let this moment pass silently. I want you to write this in the comments like a prophetic seal. My name is written, and I receive what's been reserved for me. Declare it boldly. Heaven is watching. Hell is trembling. This is not just interaction. It is activation. And as you speak, so shall it begin. And as you declare that word, come closer. Let the noise of your day fall away. Just for a moment, silence the deadlines, the worries about your family, the list of things you feel you failed at today. I want to speak with you right where you are. Breathe in. Let my presence be more real to you than the chair you are sitting in. I want to take you back, not to your past, but to mine. Back to a time before time itself. Long before the first star was hung in the cosmos, before the sun knew its place in the sky, your name was etched in my heart. Can you fathom that? Before the mountains were formed, before the oceans were poured out, I knew you. Not just as a possibility, but as a certainty. I spoke your name into the vast, silent expanse of eternity. It was a whisper that carried the force of creation, a sound that gave birth to a promise. That promise was you. This inscription, this writing of your name, is not something you can touch with your hands. It is not written with ink on fragile parchment that can fade or be destroyed. It is written in the very essence of who I am, penned with sovereign grace and an everlasting love that has no beginning and no end. I see you striving, my precious one. I see you at your job, pushing yourself to the brink, hoping for a word of acknowledgement that rarely comes. I see you at home, trying to hold everything together, feeling the unspoken tensions and the weight of being the strong one. You carry this heavy belief that you must earn your place, that you must prove your worth. But I need you to hear me now. Let this truth undo that knot in your stomach. The writing of your name had nothing to do with your merit. You did not earn it then, and you do not have to earn it now. It was sealed, paid for, and made permanent by the ultimate sacrifice of my Son, Jesus. His love for you is the ink. His life is the parchment. Is a gift, offered freely from a love that saw you and chose you without condition. When I laid the foundations of the world, your destiny was already a part of the divine blueprint. Your life is not a random collection of chaotic events. The struggles you face, the unexpected turns, the moments of confusion, none of them have taken me by surprise. Your purpose was woven into the fabric of creation with the same intention that I set the planets in their orbits. This is the primal truth of your existence, the bedrock you can build your entire life upon. You were known by me first. Before any person on this earth knew you, before your parents held you, before you even knew yourself, I knew you. I saw you. I named you. And I called you mine. Pause for a moment. Let the weight of that reality settle into your spirit. The world did not define you first. Your failures did not define you first. Your weaknesses did not define you first. I did. I am your beginning, and I am your end. Everything that happens in between is a journey back to the truth that was established before the world began. Your name is written, not as a footnote, but as a headline. Not as a casualty of life, but as a cherished child of eternity. This is where your story truly begins. As the truth that your name is written settles in your heart, I know what comes next. I hear the whisper that follows, the one that sounds suspiciously like your own voice of doubt. It says, but for how long? What if I mess up? What if I fail so badly that the writing fades? This is the fear that keeps you walking on eggshells, the anxiety that you might somehow disqualify yourself from my love. It is the lie that keeps you striving when I have called you to rest. To listen to me. That record, the one bearing your name, is not held by a fragile thread. It is sealed. And this is not a seal of wax that can be broken by force or melted by the heat of your trials. It is sealed by the blood of the Lamb, the very life force of my Son, Jesus. His seal is a living, breathing, unbreakable promise. It is the most powerful substance in the universe, and it stands as an eternal testament that you belong to me. Pause and think about what this means. The accusations of the enemy, those relentless reminders of your every fault that he hurls at you in the dark, they shatter against this seal. They have no power to penetrate it. Your own doubts, the ones that churn in your stomach and tell you that you are not good enough, they cannot erode this seal. It is absolute. It is final. This seal is my personal, unbreakable vow to you, a divine contract that cannot be annulled. It is your guarantee of an inheritance in a kingdom that will never rust, tarnish, or fade away. You worry so much about your future, about your financial security, about whether you will have enough. You look at the world and see instability, and it frightens you. But your true inheritance is not in this fleeting world. It is safe, guarded, and waiting for you. And I have not left you empty-handed on this journey. To prove the certainty of this inheritance, I have given you a down payment. You feel that. In your quietest moments, when a sense of peace that makes no sense washes over you. When you find a sudden strength to forgive someone who hurt you deeply. That is my spirit residing within you. He is the deposit, the tangible proof, the foretaste of the glory that is to come. He is my constant presence with you, a guarantee that the transaction is complete and your future with me is secure. The seal, the Spirit, guards your salvation. It keeps you secure in my unwavering hand. Imagine your life held in the palm of my hand. Now imagine my other hand closing over it. That is your reality. You are doubly protected. Nothing can snatch you away from me. Your stumbles do not loosen my grip. Your wanderings do not cause my hand to open. I hold you fast. So let go of the fear that you have to hold on to me with all your might. The truth is, I am the one holding on to you. Rest in that grip. It is the safest place in all of creation. My child, let us talk about the names you carry. The world is quick to give you labels, to put you in a box. At your job, they might label you based on your performance review, exceeds expectations or needs improvement. Society may label you by your bank account, your address, with a car you drive. Perhaps people from your past have labeled you with the mistakes you made, names that still sting when you are alone. Even you have labeled yourself, anxious, not disciplined enough, a failure, disappointing. You wear these labels like heavy, wet coats, and you wonder why you are so tired all the time. I am here today to strip those labels from you, every single one. Because while the world assigns you labels of success or failure, I have given you only one, and it supersedes all others. I label you chosen. I label you beloved. I label you mine. Your worth is not something you build. It is something you receive. You measure your value by your accomplishments, by your productivity, by how well you are liked by others. But in my kingdom, that currency is worthless. Your true worth is not measured by anything you do, but by the one thing that has been done for you: your adoption into my family. Before the foundations of the earth, I chose you to be my own. This is not a title you can be promoted into or demoted from. It is a permanent, irrevocable fact. The name I have written for you, my child, is your truest identity. It is more real than your earthly name, more defining than your job title, more permanent than any label of shame or failure that has ever been attached to you. Therefore, you are not defined by your past sins or weaknesses. I see them, yes, but I do not see them when I look at you. I see the righteousness of my Son, which covers you completely. When the accuser points to your sin, I point to the cross. It is a finished work. So let go of the weight of others' expectations. Breathe out the exhausting need for their approval. Their opinion of you can change with the weather, but my declaration over you is eternal. You are a citizen of heaven. That is not just a future reality. It is your present identity. It means you operate under a different set of rules, a different economy of grace. It means you have a home that can never be foreclosed on. You are a royal heir, a child of the Most High King. This is not a fairy tale, it is the most profound reality of your existence. So walk like it. Hold your head high, not with arrogance, but with the quiet, confident assurance of one who knows who they are and to whom they belong. The world did not give you this identity, and the world cannot take it away. I want you to picture a book. The world might make you think your name is in some dusty, forgotten ledger, on a page yellowed with age, filed away in a celestial bureaucracy. You fear you are just another entry, a number, a statistic that could easily be overlooked. Banish that image from your mind. Your name is not in a dead archive. It is written in the living chronicle of heaven, the Lamb's Book of Life. This book is not bound in leather and filled with ink. It is bound by my covenant and filled with the lifeblood of my Son. It pulses with the reality of redemption. It is the official registry of the redeemed, the census of my eternal family. It is the family album of heaven, and your picture is in it. To have your name written here is the greatest honor in all of creation. It means you have been declared righteous, not by your own efforts, but through your faith in my Son. It is a declaration that echoes through eternity. This one belongs to me. Think of the most exclusive lists on earth, lists of the wealthy, the powerful, the famous. People spend their entire lives trying to get their names on those lists. Yet this book, the most exclusive list in the universe, is also the most accessible. The only requirement for entry is to come with an empty hand of faith and receive the free gift I offer. It is the great paradox of my kingdom. The cost was infinitely high, but for you, the price is simply to believe. This book is more than just a list of names. It is a testament to a victory that has already been won. Every name inscribed within its pages is a declaration of war against the powers of darkness and a proclamation of their ultimate defeat. It is the final word on sin and the finality of death's defeat. The grave has no claim on those whose names are written here. Death is not an end, but a doorway. This book is the proof. A day is coming when all other books will be opened, recording the deeds of a lifetime. But for you, my child, this is the only book that will matter. And when its pages are opened, and your name is read aloud, it will not be a moment of judgment, but a moment of ultimate homecoming. It will be the sound of your Father calling you to the table, the final confirmation of a belonging you have felt all your life. It is the culmination of the promise whispered before time began. It is the final, joyful, welcome home. My child, pause. I feel the strength rising in you, but the most important truths are still ahead. To turn away now would be like accepting a royal title but never learning the secrets of the kingdom. It would grieve my heart to see you walk away with a half-understood power. Stay, let me show you the source of an unshakable hope that will anchor this new authority. My child, you often feel powerless, don't you? You feel tossed about by circumstances, by the economy, by the decisions of your boss, by the emotional currents in your own home. You feel like a small boat in a vast, unpredictable ocean. But because your name is written in heaven, because you are a citizen of my kingdom, you are not powerless. You have been given authority. This is a truth. The enemy works tirelessly to hide from you, because if you ever fully grasped it, his influence over your life would crumble. Because your name is known in heaven, the forces of darkness recognize your authority in Christ. You are not an unknown wanderer. You are an ambassador of my kingdom, and you carry the full weight and backing of my throne. This means you are empowered to walk in victory, not in fear. Fear is the enemy's native language, but it is a foreign tongue in my kingdom. The authority I have given you is the power to trample over the enemy's schemes and deceptions. When a thought of crippling anxiety enters your mind, you have the authority to reject it, to say, "No, peace is my inheritance." When a lie about your worthlessness whispers in your ear, you have the authority to silence it with the truth of your identity as my chosen child. This is not about being aggressive or loud. It is about standing firm with a quiet, unshakable confidence in who you are in me. This authority profoundly changes the nature of your prayers. Your prayers are not just hopeful wishes sent up into the void. They are legal petitions made by a citizen in good standing, presented before the throne of grace. They carry the weight of your heavenly citizenship. When you pray in alignment with my will, you are not just asking for something to happen. You are participating with me in bringing my kingdom's reality to bear on the earth. You are a co-heir with Christ, which means that what belongs to him also belongs to you. His victory, his righteousness, his authority. Now, understand this clearly. This authority is not for your own glory. It is not a tool to manipulate circumstances for your own comfort or to build your own little kingdom. It is a sacred trust, given to you for one purpose, to advance my will on earth as it is in heaven. It is the power to bring light into dark places, to speak peace into chaos, to love the unlovable, to be my hands and feet in a world that desperately needs to see me. So stop walking like a victim of circumstance. Stand up, my child. You are an ambassador of the King. I hear it, my child. I hear that other voice, the one that replays your every mistake on an endless loop. It is the voice of the accuser, and his greatest weapon is condemnation. It wakes you up in the middle of the night, reminding you of that harsh word you spoke, that opportunity you missed, that failure you cannot seem to move past. It whispers that because of what you have done, you are disqualified, separated, and unworthy of my love. It is a lie, forged in the pit of hell, designed to paralyze you with shame. Today, I am giving you the weapon to silence that voice forever. When the accuser whispers your failures, I want you to turn your gaze away from your past and point him to the page in the Lamb's Book of Life where your name is written in grace. That single entry silences every argument that stands against you. For in that book, next to your name, is a declaration that I, the judge of all the universe, have made. It reads, "Not guilty. The case has been dismissed. The pardon had been signed in the blood of my Son." Condemnation is a lie because the one who had the right to condemn you chose to forgive you instead. My truth is your shield. Hold it up against the fiery arrows of accusation. Clothe yourself in the reality of your forgiveness, which is as permanent and unchangeable as my throne. You cannot undo it. Your future mistakes cannot nullify it. It is a finished, eternal reality. I want you to picture the vastest ocean you can imagine. And now, picture me taking the record of your sins, every single one, past, present, and future, and casting it into the deepest part of that ocean. That is the sea of my forgetfulness. I have chosen not to remember them against you anymore. So why do you insist on dredging them up? Why do you allow the enemy to chain you to a memory that I have already erased? Those are not my chains you are wearing. They are his. And today, I am giving you the key. The key is this truth. You are forgiven. I command you now, in the authority of my name, to live freely, live unburdened by the chains of shame that I have already shattered. When you feel the weight of guilt settling on your shoulders, shake it off. It does not belong to you anymore. You are not a criminal on parole, always looking over your shoulder. You are a pardoned, redeemed, and beloved child, walking in the glorious freedom of grace. Stand up straight, drop the chains, and walk out of that prison of regret for good. My child, do not for a second believe that this is merely about a name on a list. That is the cold, impersonal way the world keeps records. You have a social security number, a bank account number, an employee ID. You are categorized, filed, and often forgotten. But when I say your name is written, I am not speaking of a detached, administrative record. I am speaking of a profound and all-encompassing intimacy. I have not merely written your name, I know the heart, the soul, the history, and the hidden dreams behind it. My knowledge of you is not a file. It is a living, breathing love letter that contains all of you. You are not a case file in my kingdom. You are a cherished member of my household. The world sees what you do, I see why you do it. I know the secret fear of failure that drives your perfectionism. I know the deep-seated need for approval that makes it so hard for you to say no, even when you are exhausted and overwhelmed. I know the hidden chambers of your heart, where you store the sorrows you believe no one else could possibly understand. I was there for the childhood hurt that still echoes in your decisions today. I see the silent battle you fight against thoughts that you would be ashamed for anyone else to know. Nothing about you is hidden from me. I know the number of hairs on your head, a truth you have heard, but have you understood it? If I am intimately aware of something so small, so fleeting, do you truly think I am unaware of the anxieties that steal your sleep? Do you think I do not see the specific financial pressure that tightens your chest or the relational strain that drains the color from your world? Your prayers are more than words to me. I hear the unspoken prayers of your spirit, the groans and longings that are too deep to articulate. The ache for peace when your mind is a raging storm, the yearning for a purpose that feels just out of reach. That is a language I understand perfectly. And your tears, my child, your tears. The world tells you to be strong, to hide them. But I have collected everyone. Not a single tear of loneliness, frustration, where grief has fallen to the ground unnoticed. I have held them, and I have recorded the story behind each one. They are precious to me. I know your joys, your sorrows, your triumphs, and your stumblings. And in my book, your stumblings are not listed as disqualifications. They are recorded as moments where you learn to depend on me more deeply, moments where my grace rushed in to meet you. This is the difference between a cold report and a love letter. A report highlights your weaknesses. My love letter highlights the moments my strength was made perfect in them. So hear this, and let it sink into the deepest part of your being. You are fully seen. You are fully known. And yet, this is the miracle. You are fully and unconditionally loved. Life feels like navigating a dense, unfamiliar forest at night, does it not? The path you thought was clear suddenly vanishes. Shadows move in your peripheral vision, and the sounds of the wilderness, the whispers of doubt, the growls of fear, surround you. You feel lost. You are looking for a map, a signpost, a landmark to prove you are heading in the right direction. The anxiety of being lost is one of the heaviest burdens you carry. But I have not left you without a guide. The absolute, unshakable truth that your name is written in your eternal home is the compass I have placed in your hands. It is a divine instrument, true and unfailing. It may not illuminate the next 10 steps on the path, which is why you often feel you are walking by faith alone. But look closely. The needle never wavers. It always points north. It always points home. It always points to me. Knowing your final destination changes everything about how you navigate the complexities of your present journey. Think of it this way. Imagine you are running a long, brutal marathon. Your legs are burning, your lungs are screaming for air, and the thought of quitting is a constant temptation. You don't know if you have what it takes to finish. But what if I were to meet you mid-race and tell you a secret? Your name is already engraved on the trophy at the finish line. Your victory is not in question. How would that change the way you run the rest of the race? You would stop running in the desperate hope of achieving victory and start running with the joyful confidence of a victory already secured. This, my beloved, is your reality. Your name is already at the destination. This difficult job, this challenging family situation, this season of waiting, they are not signs that you are lost. They are simply miles on the path home. This compass gives purpose to your pain. You look at your struggles and ask, why? Why is this happening? You see suffering as a pointless detour. But the compass reorients your perspective. It reminds you that this world is not your home. You are passing through. And on this journey, the hardships are not punishments. They are preparation. The pressure is shaping your character. The fire is purifying your faith. This compass also gives meaning to your waiting. The times when you feel stuck, when your prayers seem to go unanswered, are not times when your journey has stalled. They are sacred pauses, moments for you to learn to trust my timing and to draw strength not from progress, but from my presence. Let this assurance guide your every decision. When faced with a choice, hold up this compass. Ask, which path better reflects my heavenly citizenship? Which decision aligns with the reality of my eternal home? Your life is not a random series of events, a chaotic stumble from nowhere to nowhere. It is a sacred pilgrimage. You are not a wanderer. You are a pilgrim, and every step, even the painful ones, is a step closer to me. My child, let us speak plainly about one of the deepest and darkest fears that resides within your heart. It is the fear of being forgotten. It is the cold dread of insignificance. You live in a world of billions of people. You scroll through an endless feed of faces and accomplishments. You see the pace of life, how quickly people and trends are replaced, and a chilling question rises from your soul: do I matter? If I disappeared today, would I leave any real space behind? Am I just a footnote in a story that is too big to even notice me? This fear of being invisible, of being erased, is a heavy stone that you carry, and it is a burden I never intended for you. Today, right now, I am reaching down to lift that stone from your heart, because the truth of my kingdom is the perfect antidote to this fear. It is a divine impossibility for me to forget you. Empires that seemed eternal have turned to dust. Mountains that appeared immovable have been worn down into the sea. Generations of people have risen and fallen, their names and stories lost to time. But your name remains eternally present before my eyes. It does not erode. It cannot be erased. It is held in a place beyond the reach of time and decay. The fear of insignificance dissolves completely in the light of your divine significance. To drive this truth from your head to your heart, I gave you this promise through my prophet. I have carved your name upon the palms of my hands. Meditate on that image. This is not a name written in ink that could be wiped away. It is a carving, a scar of love. It means that every time I stretch out my hands to create a new galaxy, to sustain the universe, to act in power and might, I see you. You are a constant, visible part of my very being. You are woven into my every action. You are ever before me. So, when you feel overlooked at work, when your efforts seem to go unnoticed by your family, when you feel like just another face in the crowd, you must reject that feeling as a lie. It is an illusion projected by a world that does not know how I see you. You will never be a forgotten case file to me. You are not a number in a system. You are a cherished, known, and irreplaceable member of my household. You have a seat at my table that no one else can fill. My gaze is perpetually upon you. Not the scrutinizing gaze of a critic, but the loving, attentive gaze of a father watching his beloved child. I see the good you do that no one else notices. I hear the kind word you whisper that gets lost in the noise. I see you. I notice you. Always. In a world that can make you feel utterly invisible, I want you to anchor yourself to this reality. You are the constant focus of my eternal, loving attention. You are unforgettable. The world has diluted this powerful word into something fragile. For many, hope is just wishful thinking, a thin thread of optimism in the face of long odds. I hope things get better is a phrase filled with uncertainty. But that is not the hope I give you, my child. The hope that flows from my throne is something entirely different. It is not wishful thinking. It is the confident, settled, absolute expectation of a future that is already secured. It is a certainty that burns like a star in the darkest night. And the source of this unshakable hope is the fact that your name is written in my book. That truth is the anchor for your soul. Life is a turbulent sea. The waves of a bad medical report, a sudden job loss, a painful betrayal, they crash against you relentlessly. They have the power to swamp your boat, to fill you with the cold water of despair, to threaten to pull you under completely. Your name, written in grace, is the mighty anchor that I have dropped from your soul into the bedrock of eternity itself. The surface of the sea may be chaos. Your boat may be tossed violently. The winds may howl and rage. But the anchor holds. Because it is held by me, it will not drag and it will not break. You will not be lost at sea. You will not be overcome. The anchor holds. I know you have been disappointed. You have placed your hope in people, and they have let you down. You have placed your hope in plans, and they have fallen apart. You are weary, and you are wary of trusting again. You are afraid that this hope will also fail you. But listen to my promise. This hope does not disappoint. It cannot fail. Why? Because it is not based on your fluctuating feelings or your fragile circumstances. It is based entirely on my unchanging, immovable, and perfectly faithful character. I am not a man that I should lie. My promises are sure. Therefore, the hope that is built upon my promises is an absolute certainty. This is not a dead hope based on an ancient story. It is a living hope, exploding with power from an empty tomb. The resurrection of my Son, Jesus, from the dead is your ultimate guarantee that my power is infinitely greater than any struggle, any sin, any failure, and even death itself. Because He lives, your hope is alive and active. Even in the deepest darkness of your personal night, when you can see no glimmer of light, this hope is the unshakable promise of a coming dawn. The sun will rise. This trial is not your final chapter. And this hope is not passive. It is the divine energy that fuels your perseverance. It is what empowers you to get out of bed on the days when grief is a physical weight. It fills your heart with a supernatural joy that the world cannot give and cannot take away. It is your strength, your shield, and your song. Beloved, can you feel that hope taking root? It is a precious seed. Do not leave it unattended now. To stop listening here would be to admire the wedding invitation, but to never meet the bridegroom who so eagerly awaits you. My heart aches to reveal the true reason for your rejoicing and the blueprint for the purpose you feel stirring. Please, stay a little longer. The best is yet to come. My child, tell me, what is the source of your joy? When do you feel your spirit lift? Perhaps it is when a project at work succeeds and you receive praise. Perhaps it is a peaceful evening with your family when there is no conflict. Perhaps it is a word of encouragement from a friend just when you needed it most. These things are good. They are small reflections of my kindness, and you should receive them with gratitude. But if these temporary circumstances are the foundation of your happiness, then your emotional life will be a roller coaster, rising with good news and plunging with every disappointment. I have something so much better for you. I want to give you a joy that is not dependent on what is happening to you, but is rooted in what is true about you. Remember when my disciples returned from their mission, ecstatic with their success. They were rejoicing because they had exercised spiritual authority, and even the demons were subject to them. They were focused on a temporary victory, on their performance. But my Son stopped them. He gently recalibrated their perspective. He told them, "Do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rejoice that your names are written in heaven." He was giving them, and you, the primary, foundational, and eternal reason for a joy that can never be stolen. This is the bedrock. All other joys are secondary. This core truth changes everything. This joy is completely independent of your circumstances. Think about that. You can lose your job and still have this joy. You can receive a difficult diagnosis and still have this joy. You can feel the sharp pain of loneliness and still have this joy. Why? Because the reason for it, your eternal security, your identity as my beloved child, your name written in the book of life, is a fact that stands unshaken regardless of the chaos that may be swirling around you. The happiness the world offers is like a shallow puddle on the pavement. It feels refreshing for a moment, but it evaporates under the heat of a real trial. The joy I offer you is a deep, artesian well, springing up from the center of your being. Its source is not your feelings, but my faithfulness. You can draw from it in the driest, most barren seasons of your life, and you will find it is never empty. It cannot be depleted by sorrow, suffering, or betrayal, because it is not sustained by you. It is sustained by me. Let this become the new rhythm of your heart. Let it be your constant, unceasing song. When you wake in the morning, before your feet hit the floor, let your first conscious thought be the joyful refrain, "My name is written." When you face a daunting challenge during the day, let the melody of this truth be your strength, "My name is written." When tears come in the evening, let this core reality be your profound comfort, "My name is written." This is the joy that makes you resilient. This is the joy that shines like a beacon in a weary world. This is your unshakable song. Let us speak of promises. In your world, a promise is often a fragile thing. You make contracts, and you understand them well. A contract is an agreement between two parties based on mutual performance. If one side fails to hold up their end, the contract becomes void. You have lived in fear that your relationship with me is like a contract. You believe you must perform, you must hold up your end of the bargain, and you live with the constant, nagging anxiety that you will fail, that you have failed, and that our agreement is therefore broken. This is the source of so much of your striving and your shame. But I must be clear with you, my beloved, what I have with you is not a contract. It is a covenant, and the two are not the same. A contract is based on your performance. A covenant is based on my promise. It is an unbreakable, one-sided oath that I have sworn, and its integrity rests entirely upon my faithfulness, not yours. The writing of your name in my book is not just an entry on a list. It is a clause in this everlasting covenant. This is not a new agreement I hastily made. It is a sacred promise that I have woven throughout all of human history, a golden thread leading to one moment, the moment my son shed his blood. That blood is the seal of this new covenant, an agreement that is ancient, holy, and absolutely unbreakable. You are right to believe that you cannot keep your end of the deal perfectly. I know you cannot. I see your heart. I know you will stumble. I know there are days your faith will feel paper thin, and your love will grow cold. I knew every one of your future failings before I ever called your name. That is precisely why I designed the covenant to depend not on your strength but on mine. My ability to keep my word is your only true security. My faithfulness is the guarantee. So what is this covenant promise? It is beautifully simple. I will be your God, and you will be my child. Let that sink in. What does it mean for me to be your God? It means I take full responsibility for you. I am your provider when you are in need. I am your protector when you are under attack. I am your shepherd when you are lost. I am your wisdom when you are confused. I am your peace in the midst of your inner storm. And what does it mean for you to be my child? It means you have a new identity. It means you are an heir to all that I have. It means you have unrestricted access to my presence. It means you have a permanent, irrevocable place in my family. Look at the mightiest mountain you can imagine. I tell you, one day it will be ground into dust. Consider the finality of death. I tell you, I have utterly defeated it. This covenant I have made with you is more permanent than the very earth you stand on, and more powerful than your greatest fear. When I made this promise, there was no one and nothing greater to swear by, so I swore by myself. My very character, my unchanging nature, my eternal existence, that is the collateral for this promise. For me to break this covenant with you, I would have to cease to be God. And that is an impossibility. So when you doubt, when you feel you have failed, do not look at your own shaky performance. Look to my unshakable oath. You are mine, now and forever. This is my solemn, unbreakable promise. Rest in it. My child, you rest now in the certainty of my unbreakable covenant with you, a promise sealed in love and kept by my faithfulness. If your heart now yearns to extend this same covenant promise to another lost soul, then I am calling you to become a river of my grace in the world. Every seed of support you sow through Super Thanks membership, where the link below becomes a harvest of hope for someone who believes they are forgotten. I declare over you my living word from Luke 6:38. Give, and it will be given to you, for I will pour into your life a blessing you cannot contain. This is not a mere transaction. It is your covenant response to my covenant promise, an act recorded in heaven. As you release this offering, I release over you a multiplied return, protecting what you have and expanding your territory. Click the buttons of provision now and partner with me in this great work of redemption. Now, my child, I want you to shift your gaze from the battles of today to the celebration of tomorrow. Think of the most wonderful, joyous, sought-after invitation you could ever imagine receiving. An invitation that honors you, that makes you feel seen and cherished. The writing of your name in the book of life is precisely that. It is your personal, beautifully embossed, non-transferable invitation to the greatest feast, the most glorious celebration in the history of the cosmos, the marriage supper of the Lamb. This is not a metaphor for a feeling. It is a real event that awaits you. Your seat is reserved. Your place is set. And I want you to understand the nature of this celebration, so that the hope of it can fill your heart today. This is nigh summer, stiff and formal dinner. Banish any such thoughts. This is a wedding feast. It is a homecoming party. It is the ultimate family reunion. Imagine a great hall, so vast it seems to have no end, illuminated by a light that is my very glory. Imagine a table that stretches beyond the horizon, laden with the goodness of my kingdom. But the true feast is not the food on the table, it is the fellowship around it. Seated there will be every soul from every tribe, tongue, and nation who has ever placed their trust in me. The air will not be filled with polite, quiet conversation. It will be ringing with a laughter that has no memory of tears. It will echo with a music that has no minor key of sorrow. It will be a symphony of pure, unhindered joy. In that place, all the loneliness and disconnection you have felt on this earth will vanish like a bad dream. The relationships that were broken will be made whole. The misunderstandings will be clarified. The ache of missing those you love who have gone before you in faith will be healed, as you will be reunited with them in perfect fellowship. You will be part of the most loving, authentic, and unified community imaginable, where every heart is fully known and every soul is fully celebrated. And at the head of the table, at the center of all the joy, is the bridegroom himself, my son, Jesus. And you must understand this. He is not passively waiting for the guests to arrive. He is eagerly, actively, and passionately awaiting the moment he will welcome you, his bride, to this feast. He longs for you. He anticipates your arrival with a holy love that you can only glimpse now. When you feel unworthy, when you feel like you would be out of place at such a glorious event, you must remember this. Your presence is not optional. It is requested. It is essential. The celebration would be incomplete without you. A chair has your name on it, and it will not be given to another. You are not a plus one. You are the guest of honor. You are wanted. You are expected. Let this glorious anticipation change the way you live today. Your life now is not just about getting through the daily grind. It is about preparing for a party. It is about living in the joyful expectation of the greatest celebration of all time. My child, you so often wrestle with the question of your purpose. You look at your life, your job, your daily routines, your obligations, and you wonder, is this it? Is there any meaning to all this? You see others who seem to have a clear calling, a grand mission, and your own path can feel mundane and directionless by comparison. This feeling of aimlessness is a heavy burden, because I created you with a deep, innate longing for purpose. Today I want to show you the blueprint. You must understand that your name was not written in my book in isolation, as a random entry. Alongside your name, I drew a detailed, unique, and divine blueprint, a purpose that only you can fulfill in all of history. Reject the lie that you are an accident. You are not a product of random chance. You are my poimen, a Greek word that means my handcrafted work of art, my masterpiece. And I, the master artist, created you in Christ Jesus for a specific set of good works. These are not works you have to frantically invent or anxiously strive to discover. They are works that I prepared in advance, specifically for you to walk in. Your life is not a maze. It is a divinely laid path of purpose. I have placed you in your specific family, in your specific town, with your specific personality, for a reason. The greatest tool the enemy uses to neutralize this purpose is the trap of comparison. You look at someone else's gifts, their eloquence, their platform, their apparent success, and you immediately feel that what you have is insignificant. You disqualify yourself before you even begin. I command you today, in love, stop looking sideways. Your journey is not theirs. Do not try to be a copy of someone else, for I never create copies. I created you, an original. Your unique blend of talents, experiences, and passions is exactly what is needed for the purpose I have for you. Embrace the calling I have placed on your life, even if it seems small or hidden to the world. It is not small in my eyes. And everything in your life, everything, is a tool for this purpose. The gifts you possess are not random abilities. They are the specific tools I have placed in your hands for the task. The passions that burn within your heart are not mere hobbies. They are the holy fire I have lit within you to fuel your journey. Even your trials, my child, the very things you see as setbacks and wish you could erase, are the chisel I am using to shape you into the person you need to be to fulfill your calling. In my economy, nothing is wasted. I am writing a grand, sweeping story of redemption for all of creation. And by walking in your specific purpose, by using your unique gifts to love your neighbor, to bring order to chaos in your work, to show patience to a difficult family member, you are adding your beautiful, irreplaceable signature to my grand story. Fulfilling your calling is how you leave my mark on this world. There is a question that haunts you. It stalks you in the quiet moments and paralyzes you when you are on the verge of a bold decision. It is a question that builds a prison of fear around your heart, a prison of inaction and regret. The question is, what if I fail? It echoes in your mind in 1,000 different forms. What if I take this new job and I'm not good enough? What if I speak up and say the wrong thing? What if I step out in faith and nothing happens? What if I trust someone and get hurt again? This question keeps you playing it safe, living a small life, when I have called you to an abundant one. Today, I am giving you the key that demolishes the walls of that prison. The crippling, paralyzing question of what if I fail is definitively and eternally silenced by the unshakable certainty of your name is written. Think about it. Your ultimate success, your eternal destiny with me, is not in question. It is a settled, sealed, and guaranteed fact. The end of your story has already been written, and it is a story of glory. Because this ultimate victory is already secured, you are free. You are free from the tyranny of needing to succeed at everything in this life. My plan for your life is not so fragile that it can be derailed by your human weakness. It is robust and resilient, held together by my sovereign power, not your flawless performance. My grace is not just a comforting theory. It is a practical, powerful reality for your every stumble. When you are weak, my grace is your strength. When you make a mistake, and you will make mistakes, my grace is your immediate and complete forgiveness. This profound security is not meant to make you passive. It is meant to make you bold. It is the solid ground from which you can take great leaps of faith. Because your eternal home is secure, you are free to risk failure for the sake of my kingdom. You are free to start the new business, to have the difficult conversation, to volunteer for the challenging task. You are free to love extravagantly, even if you are not loved in return. You are free to give generously, even when your own resources feel tight. The worst that can happen to you in this life, failure, rejection, loss, is nothing but a light and momentary affliction when compared to the eternal weight of glory that is already yours. This truth also liberates you from the exhausting, performance-based relationship you have been trying to have with me. You feel close to me when you have a good day, when you have been patient and kind and prayerful. But you feel distant and ashamed when you stumble. Let go of that cycle. Our relationship is not based on your daily performance. It is based on your permanent position as my child. You are loved just as much on your worst day as you are on your best day. Walk in this freedom. Do not let the fear of what if hold you back any longer. The outcome is not in doubt. Step out of the boat. The victory is already won. Wait, my precious one. We have come so far, and I have just handed you the key to unlock the prison of your fear. It would pierce my heart to see you hold this key, only to turn back and sit in the familiar shadows of affliction. The most powerful weapons against the enemy are what I long to give you next. Do not abandon this conversation now. Let me teach you how to live as one who is truly free. My child, I see your pain. I do not stand distant from your suffering, and I do not diminish it. Your heart is aching, and I know it. The medical report is frightening. The betrayal by a friend is a sharp, agonizing wound. The constant hum of anxiety is a heavy weight on your spirit. The grief feels like a physical presence in the room. I am not asking you to deny that it hurts. I am not telling you to simply be positive. I created you with a capacity for deep emotion, and I weep with you in your pain. My son himself was a man of sorrows, intimately acquainted with grief. I am with you in this. But even as I sit with you in your affliction, I want to give you a new lens through which to view it. The truth that your name is securely written in heaven provides an eternal perspective. This new lens does not magically remove the pain, but it has the power to infuse your pain with profound purpose and unshakable hope. When affliction strikes, your first, most human reaction is to ask, why? And often, the voice of the accuser follows close behind, whispering, what did you do wrong? God is punishing you. You must recognize that whisper for the lie that it is. For you, my child, who are covered by the grace of my Son, I do not punish, I discipline. And my discipline is born not of anger, but of love. It is corrective, not punitive. Your suffering is a refiner's fire. A fire is painful, yes, but its purpose is not to destroy you. It is to purify you. It is burning away the dross, the impurities in your life that you may not even see. Your hidden pride, your fierce self-reliance, your subtle love for the comforts of this world over me. The fire is bringing forth the pure, shining gold of a faith that is proven genuine and a character that more beautifully reflects the image of my Son. Through this lens of eternity, your present troubles, which feel so heavy and all-consuming, are revealed to be what my apostle Paul called them, light and momentary. How can that be? It is because they are being weighed on the scales of eternity against the immeasurable weight of glory that they are producing for you. This present pain is creating a future glory that is so vast, so wonderful, it is beyond all comparison. This perspective also reminds you, powerfully, that this broken world is not your final home. You are a citizen of another kingdom. You are a pilgrim, a sojourner, just passing through. This helps you to hold loosely to the things of this world and to fix your hope not on temporary relief, but on eternal realities. And most importantly, know this: I have not sent you into the fire alone. I am with you in the very heart of the flames. I am holding you. I am sustaining you. I will not allow the fire to consume you. I will only allow it to accomplish its purifying work. Your eternal security in me gives you this divine perspective, allowing you to endure this temporary hardship with a strength that is not your own, knowing with absolute certainty that I am working all things, even this, together for your good and for my glory. My child, you must open your spiritual eyes to a reality you cannot see but can most certainly feel. Your life is not lived in a neutral territory. There is a great conflict unfolding, a battle between two kingdoms, the oppressive, shadow-filled kingdom of darkness and the glorious, light-filled kingdom of my beloved Son. For a time, you were a captive in that land of darkness, bound by fear and shame. But the moment you placed your faith in me, a monumental event occurred in that unseen realm. It was a rescue mission of divine proportions. With the infinite price of my Son's blood, I did not just set you free. I transferred your citizenship. Your name being written in my book is the official, legal, and eternally binding documentation of that transfer. You are no longer a subject of darkness. You are a citizen of light. I want you to understand how this changes everything. In my kingdom, you are a trophy of my grace, a living, breathing testament to my power to rescue, redeem, and restore. Your very life is a song of my victory. But to the enemy, the ruler of the darkness you left behind, you are something else entirely. You are a threat. You are a walking, talking reminder of his ultimate defeat. Your joy is an assault on his kingdom of misery. Your freedom is an insult to his realm of bondage. He hates the record of your name in my book because it is the irrefutable proof that you have been removed from his dominion forever. It is the signed and sealed document of his loss. Because he cannot reverse the transfer, he will do everything in his power to make you live as if it never happened. He will try to convince you that you are still a prisoner. He will whisper the old lies of your worthlessness. He will tempt you to behave like a citizen of your old country, to fall back into the patterns of fear, anxiety, and sin. This is the spiritual attack you feel, that sudden, overwhelming wave of despair, that potent temptation that seems to come from nowhere, the confusing cloud of lies that settles over your mind. When this happens, your command is not to crumble. It is to stand firm. And you must understand the nature of this fight. You do not fight for victory. You fight from a position of a victory that has already been decisively and eternally won by Jesus on the cross. Your feet are not in the mud of the valley, trying to claw your way up to high ground. Your feet are already planted firmly on the high ground of his finished work. So do not engage the enemy with arguments about your performance. Do not debate with him about whether you are good enough. Your most powerful weapon, your impenetrable shield, is your identity. When he whispers, "You are a failure," your reply is the quiet, firm truth, "I am a child of God." When he screams, "You are trapped by your past," your answer is the unshakable reality, "My name is written in heaven." The truth, my child, is a sword that he cannot defend against. It is the declaration of war that ends the battle before it begins. In the world you live in, status is a source of pride. To have your name on an exclusive list, to be part of an inner circle, to be chosen for a position of honor, these things are used to build up the self, to create a sense of superiority. A part of you might naturally fear that this knowledge, the ultimate exclusive list of having your name written in heaven, could lead you down that same path of arrogance. You might worry that it could make you look down on others. But I want to show you how this divine truth does the exact opposite. Far from being a source of pride, the knowledge of your election is the very wellspring of true, authentic humility. It is the one truth that will, if you let it, dismantle your pride completely. The reason for this is beautifully simple. You know, and I know, that you did absolutely nothing to earn this place of honor. It was not your superior intellect, your moral effort, your consistent good works, or your spiritual disciplines that qualified you. If salvation were based on merit, all would be lost. And no, your name was written in my book for one reason and one reason only. Pure, unmerited, scandalous grace is a gift. You were spiritually bankrupt, and I, the King of the universe, chose to pay your infinite debt and adopt you into my family. How can one be arrogant about a gift of that magnitude? How can you boast about a rescue you did not orchestrate? His truth removes all ground for boasting in yourself. It puts every human being on the same level ground, the dusty, bloody earth at the foot of the cross. The only difference between you and any other person on this planet is a gift that you received, not a status that you achieved. This understanding will redefine humility for you. The world has taught you that humility is thinking less of yourself. It's telling yourself that you are worthless, no good, and insignificant. That is not humility. That is self-condemnation, a favorite lie of the enemy. It dishonors the masterpiece I created you to be. True humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less often. It is the great reorientation of your life away from the exhausting project of self-promotion and self-analysis, and toward the glorious reality of me. Your mind is no longer consumed with how am I doing? What do people think of me? Instead, it is filled with how great is my God? How can I reflect His love today? And when you truly grasp that your eternal security is a gift you could never have earned or deserved, the natural, spontaneous overflow of your heart is not pride. It is an overwhelming, soul-saturating gratitude. Your life becomes a constant, whispered, thank you. This deep gratitude is the defining posture of a humble heart, and a heart filled with such thanks has no room for the poison of arrogance. Remembering where your name is written keeps you grounded in the beautiful, humbling reality of my goodness and your complete and joyful dependence on it. For so much of your life, you have gotten this backward. You have viewed my commands, my call to live a life of holiness, purity, and love, as a daunting list of rules you must follow in order to earn my favor. You have seen it as a celestial performance review, believing that if you could just be good enough, patient enough, and disciplined enough, you could keep your name in my good graces. This has turned your spiritual life into a heavy, joyless burden of striving, followed inevitably by the shame of failure. My child, listen to me. We must reverse this flawed understanding. You do not live a holy life to get your name written in my book. You live a holy life because it is already written. The motivation hath been completely transformed from fear to gratitude. The deep, abiding gratitude that flows from the gift of your salvation becomes the new and powerful fuel for your obedience. You no longer serve me out of a fearful obligation, as a slave serves a harsh master. You now serve me out of a joyful, loving devotion, as a beloved child serves a good and wonderful father. It is a response of love to the one who first loved you, who chose you, and who wrote your name in his book when you were still lost in darkness. Think of it this way. If someone were to dive into a raging fire to rescue you, pulling you from certain death at great cost to themselves, how would you then live in relation to that person? You would be filled with such profound thankfulness that your deepest desire would be to honor them, to live in a way that brings them joy. You would not do this out of a grudging sense of duty, but from a heart overflowing with love. My son did infinitely more for you when he walked into the fire of my judgment on your behalf. Your desire to live a life that pleases me, to turn from sin and walk in righteousness, is the natural, beautiful, and powerful response to that incredible act of love. Because you are a citizen of heaven, you are now a representative, ambassador, of the kingdom to which you belong. Your actions, your words, your character, they all reflect on your King. You begin to desire holiness not just for your own sake, but because you want to represent me well in a world that is watching. When my word calls you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling you have received, it is not a threat of disqualification. It is an invitation into deeper joy. It is me saying, my child, I have made you holy in your position. Now I invite you to walk in that reality in your practice. Let your actions catch up with your magnificent identity. And in this, you will discover that purity is not the burden you once thought it was. It is not a list of things you cannot do. It is a joyful alignment with your true self, the person I created you to be. Sin is a foreign poison that corrupts the masterpiece. Holiness is simply living in a way that is true to your original design. It is not the loss of freedom. It is the glorious discovery of what it means to be truly and fully free. My child, your journey of faith can feel, at times, like a profoundly lonely road. You look at the world around you, and its values and priorities seem so foreign to what is stirring in your heart. Sometimes, even within your own circle of friends or family, you can feel deeply misunderstood, like an exile in your own land. The enemy loves this. One of his most effective strategies is to isolate you, to whisper the lie that you are all alone in your struggles, alone in your faith, alone in your desire to know me. He wants you to believe you are a solitary soldier on a vast and empty battlefield. Today, I want to shatter that illusion and show you the magnificent truth of your belonging. Your name, written in the Lamb's Book of Life, is not inscribed on a solitary page in a private journal. It is written in a vast, sprawling volume, a living history, alongside a great and glorious cloud of witnesses. Picture it. On those pages are the names of the heroes of faith who have gone before you. Abraham, who left everything he knew to follow my voice. Esther, who risked her life for her people. David, a man after my own heart despite his great failings. Paul, who was transformed from a persecutor to a passionate apostle. Their names are there, and written alongside them are the names of your brothers and sisters across the globe right now. The ones worshiping in secret in nations hostile to my name. The ones serving the poor in forgotten corners of the world. The ones standing for truth in their workplaces at great personal cost. And your name, my beloved, is written right there among them. You are part of something so much bigger than your individual experience. You are a member of a vast, diverse, and eternal family, united by the single most powerful bond in the universe, the blood of my Son. This is your true family. This is your tribe. And in this family, the petty, earthly divisions that cause so much pain and strife are rendered utterly meaningless. Your race, your social status, your level of education, your political party, your nationality, all these labels that the world uses to build walls are demolished at the foot of the cross. You share a common heritage as a redeemed child of the King, and you share a common destiny in my eternal kingdom. This means that a believer who looks nothing like you, speaks a different language, and lives 10,000 miles away may be more intimately your family than the person who shares your last name. So when you feel alone, remember this family. You are not alone. You are surrounded by a heavenly host that is cheering you on, and by millions of earthly brethren who are running the same difficult race. Your struggles are not unique. Your fears have been felt by countless saints before you. Your victories are a cause for celebration for the entire family. This shared identity is the only true basis for Christian unity and fellowship. I did not design you to live this life in isolation. I created you for community. So find your family. Invest in them. Bear their burdens. Forgive them. Love them. You are not a solitary soldier. You are part of a great, glorious, and unstoppable army of light. Child, listen closely. You now see that you are part of a great, eternal family, but I sense the lingering question in your spirit. Can I lose my place in it? It would bring a deep sorrow to me if you left this moment with only the knowledge of the family, but not the absolute certainty of your eternal security within it. The final, most glorious truths are now at hand. I implore you, do not go. Let me give you the final word that will silence your fear forever. My child, I know there is a deep fear that can sometimes shadow your faith, a fear that you may not make it to the end. You look at your own weakness, your inconsistencies, the days when your faith feels strong, and the days when it feels like a dying ember. You have seen others who started the race with great passion, but have since wandered from the path and grown cold. And a chilling question rises in your heart. Will I be one of them? Will I persevere? Do I have what it takes to finish? You fear that your own weakness will ultimately disqualify you. You fear that you will be the one who falls away. I want to speak directly to that fear and replace it with a divine certainty. The fact that your name is written in the book of life is not merely a record of a past decision you made. It is a prophecy of your future. It is my solemn, divine declaration that you will endure to the end. Your final perseverance is not a hopeful wish. It is a guaranteed outcome. Your confidence in this, however, must be placed in the right person. Your confidence must not be in your own ability to hold on to me. Your confidence must be entirely in my ability to hold on to you. I am the one who began this good work of salvation and transformation in you, and my word promises with absolute certainty that I will be faithful to complete it. I do not begin a divine project and then abandon it halfway through. I do not start a masterpiece and then walk away, leaving it unfinished. My power, not your willpower, is the engine that will bring you safely to your final destination. My son, Jesus, made this promise as clearly as it could be made. He said, "This is the will of him who sent me, that I shall lose none of all those that he has given me, but raise them up at the last day." You, my child, are a gift from me, the Father, to my son. Do you honestly believe that he would be careless with such an infinitely precious gift? Do you think he would allow you to be snatched from his hand by the enemy, or to simply slip through his fingers because of your own weakness? No. His divine honor and my sovereign purpose are both eternally invested in your safe arrival home. Your grip on me may weaken. In times of severe trial or doubt, your knuckles may turn white with the effort, and you may feel you are about to lose your hold. But the glorious truth is that your security does not depend on your grip on me. It depends entirely on my grip on you. And my grip is the grip of omnipotent love. It will never, ever loosen. It will never fail. Therefore, run the race with all your heart. Fight the good fight of faith with all your strength. But do so not with the anxious dread that you might fail and be cast aside, but with the joyful, liberating confidence that your arrival at the finish line is already a settled matter, secured by me. I will see you home. My child, let us cut through all the noise, all the striving, all the religion, and get to the very heart of the matter. Let's talk about the one question that underlies all your other fears, your anxieties, and your insecurities. It is the question your soul has been asking in 1,000 different ways, every single day of your life. It is the question, am I truly loved? You have looked for the answer in so many places. You have looked for it in the eyes of another person, hoping to see a reflection of your worth. You have looked for it in your achievements at work, hoping that a promotion or a word of praise would finally be enough. You have looked for it in your performance, even your spiritual performance, hoping that if you could just be good enough, you would finally feel secure. But the love and validation you find in these places is always conditional, always temporary. It never fully silences the ache in your soul. Today, I want to provide the final, definitive answer. I command you, look no further. The inscription of your name in the Lamb's Book of Life is the ultimate love note from me to you. It is my irrefutable, eternal, and passionate yes to your heart's deepest question. My prophet Jeremiah spoke my words when he said, I have loved you with an everlasting love. I want you to take that word, everlasting, and hold it in your heart. Your experience with love on this earth is that it has a beginning, and often, a painful end. It can be withdrawn. It can grow cold. It is often based on feelings or performance. But my love for you is everlasting. It does not have a starting point where I decided to begin loving you. And it has no ending point where my love might run out. I love you because it is my very nature to love, and I have chosen, from all eternity, to set that love upon you. Now, it is crucial that you understand this is not a generic, impersonal love, like the way the sun shines on the good and the evil alike. No, my love for you is intensely specific, intentional, and focused. I love you. I love you by name. I know the unique way you laugh when you are truly joyful. I know the specific fears that you have never spoken aloud to another soul. I know your quirks, your passions, your secret dreams. I delight in the person I created you to be. The love I have for you is not a mass-produced, one-size-fits-all affection. It is a custom-made, perfectly tailored love, designed to fit every contour of your heart. I know there will be days when you do not feel loved. There will be days when a cold sense of isolation descends upon you, and you feel utterly alone in the universe. On those days, my child, your feelings will be liars. I command you in those moments, do not trust your feelings. Trust this foundational fact. Return to this bedrock truth. My name is written. Preach this gospel to your own soul over and over again until the feeling of being loved comes into alignment with the unchangeable reality that you are. Let this truth define you. The world may call you many things. Your own heart may condemn you. But my name for you, the name that drowns out all others, is beloved. You are, and you always will be my beloved. Lie from that name. Breathe it in as your very identity. Let it be the source of all your strength, all your courage, and all your peace. My beloved, you have just heard my heart's eternal answer to your soul's deepest question. You are unconditionally loved. If this truth now burns within you, compelling you to share this same answer with a world crying out in loneliness, then I am inviting you to become a beacon of my affection. Your gift through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal is not just money. It is oil for a lamp, allowing this light of my love to reach another dark corner of the world. I now declare over your life from 2 Corinthians 9:8 that I am able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. This is a sacred moment to respond to love with love, an act of worship that resounds in eternity. For your obedience, I will rebuke the devourer for your sake and open doors of provision you did not know existed. Click now and release the echo of my love into the world. Now let us speak of the great shadow, the fear that lurks behind all other fears in the human heart. Let us talk about death. It is the final enemy, the great unknown. You see its power and its finality in the world around you, and it seeds a deep and primal fear within you. You fear the process of dying. You fear the separation from those you love, and you fear the silence that follows. The world, in its wisdom, tells you that this is the absolute end of your story, a final, black punctuation mark. But because your name is written in the book of life, I am here today to completely rewrite that narrative for you. I want to take the fear out of that final moment. For you, my child, physical death is not an end. It is not a period. It is a comma in the eternal sentence of your life. It is not a termination. It is a transition. It is the gentle closing of a door on this temporary, broken, and painful world, and the immediate, glorious opening of a door into my unfiltered presence. I want you to begin to see it not as a defeat, but as a graduation. All of your life on earth is a time of learning, training, and preparation. Death is the graduation ceremony. It is the moment you finally walk across the stage to receive your diploma, your crown of righteousness. It is a moment of ultimate triumph, a celebration of a race well run, a passage into a glory that your current imagination cannot even begin to contain. My son, Jesus did not tiptoe around death. He walked straight into its heart, into the grave itself, and he shattered its power from the inside out. He took its sting, the deadly poison of sin and eternal separation from me, into his own body on the cross. For you, that stinger has been permanently removed. The grave has lost its victory. It is nothing more than a defeated and defanged foe, a temporary resting place for your earthly shell. The true terror that people feel about death is not the cessation of breath. It is the second death, the horrifying reality of eternal separation from me, the source of all life, all love, all light, and all joy. But hear my promise to you today, because your name is written in the book of life. You will never, ever face the second death. A judgment has already been passed, and the verdict was satisfied by my Son. Therefore, for you, the moment you are absent from your body, you will be instantly present with me. There is no dark void, no lonely waiting. It is an immediate transfer into the heart of perfect love. So do not fear the moment of your passing. When that day comes, whether it is soon or many, many years from now, I will be there. My Son will be there to welcome you. You will not make that final journey alone. It will not be a leap into a dark and terrifying abyss. It will be a loving, personal escort by the Creator of the universe into your true and final home. My child, we have walked through the magnificent truths of your security, your identity, your purpose, and your eternal hope. This knowledge is a treasure of infinite worth. It is a well of living water in the desert of this world. But this treasure was not given to you to be buried in the ground of your own private comfort and security. The peace that now guards your heart is not a secret to be hoarded. It is a message of hope that must be shared with a world that is desperately lost, thirsty, and searching for the very things you have received. You are a vessel that I have filled to overflowing, not for your own sake alone, but so that you can pour out my love and truth into the lives of others. You might be thinking, but I am not a preacher. I am not an evangelist. I don't have the right words, and I'm afraid I would say the wrong thing. I understand your hesitation, but I want to broaden your understanding of what it means to be my witness. Your very life, lived in the quiet confidence of these truths, becomes a powerful and compelling testament. The unexplainable peace you have in the middle of a crisis, the supernatural ability you have to forgive someone who has deeply wronged you, the quiet and resilient hope that sustains you in a season of sorrow. These things are a living sermon that watching, weary world can read. Your life becomes a tangible demonstration of my grace. You become the evidence. I have commissioned you, yes you, to be my witness. This is not a burdensome duty I am placing on your shoulders. It is the joyful and profound privilege of inviting others to the great wedding feast. It is the honor of knowing you hold the antidote to the world's deepest poisons. It is seeing the fear and loneliness in the eyes of a coworker, a neighbor, or a family member, and knowing that you can offer them a true and lasting hope. And what is the message you are to share? It is not a complex theological argument. It is the greatest and simplest story ever told. Tell them of the shepherd who left the 99 safe sheep to search the dangerous wilderness for the one who was lost. Tell them of the father who, seeing his rebellious son returning from a great distance, was filled with compassion and ran to embrace him. Tell them of the king who loved his people so much that he laid down his own life to save them. This is the good news. And the most powerful tool I have given you to share this news is your own story. You do not need to be a scholar. Just be a witness. Tell people where I found you. Tell them about the state you were in. Tell them of the chains of anxiety, or addiction, or shame that I broke in your life. Tell them of the peace I have given you that defies your circumstances. Your personal story of redemption is a unique and powerful proof of my love that no one can argue with. It is your authentic, undeniable testimony. You were once lost, but I found you. Now go and show others the way home. My child, we have spoken of these great, objective, and eternal truths. They are written in my word. They are as solid and real as the mountains. But I know your heart, and I know your mind. You can hear all of these magnificent promises, and a part of you can still wrestle with a lingering doubt. A voice can whisper, but how can I really be sure? How do I know this isn't just a beautiful story I want to believe? How do I know it is really true for me? I knew you would have these moments of intellectual and emotional struggle. I would not give you these monumental, life-altering truths and then leave you to grapple with them all alone, armed only with your own intellect. To anchor these truths not just in your mind, but in the very core of your being, I have given you a deep, personal, inner confirmation. The moment you placed your trust in me and your name was written, I sent my own Spirit, the Holy Spirit, the third person of the Trinity, to take up permanent residence within you. He is not a vague force, an impersonal power, or a fleeting emotion. He is a person, your comforter, your guide, and your advocate. And one of his primary and most beautiful ministries is to be my inner witness to your soul. My word declares this promise. The Spirit himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of God. This is one of the most intimate and mysterious transactions in the universe. It is a quiet, steady, and profound assurance that takes place in the deepest part of your being, a place that is deeper than your thoughts and deeper than your feelings. It is a deep, inner knowing that you belong to me. It is the source of that inexplicable sense of being at home when you are in my presence. You have felt this witness, even if you did not have a name for it. Have you ever been in the middle of a chaotic, stressful situation, and a wave of peace that makes absolutely no logical sense washes over your soul? That is the witness of the Spirit, guarding your heart and mind in me. Have you ever been reading my word, and a particular verse seems to leap off the page and lodge itself in your heart, speaking directly to your situation with breathtaking clarity. That is the witness of the Spirit, illuminating my truth for you. This witness is not usually a loud, booming voice from heaven. More often, it is a gentle whisper, a steady nudge, a quiet but firm assurance in your soul. In your times of greatest doubt and fear, you must learn to quiet the loud, frantic voices of your anxiety and listen for his gentle whisper of affirmation. He will always confirm the truth of my word. He will always testify to my unconditional love for you. He is the seal of your salvation that we spoke of earlier. He is my down payment, my deposit, my engagement ring, my guarantee to you that you are mine, and that I am faithful to complete the work I have begun in you. The objective, unchangeable truth of my word and the subjective, personal witness of my spirit are the two great pillars upon which your assurance rests. One pillar tells you, it is true. The other whispers to your heart, yes, and it is true for you. Beloved, we are standing on holy ground, at the very threshold of glory. All that I have told you leads to this final, breathtaking revelation. My heart yearns for you to hear these last words, for in them is your final vindication and a glimpse of your eternal home. To turn away now would be to leave the symphony just before its grand finale. Stay, receive the fullness of the promise. Let me walk you all the way home. My child, for now, in this life, your true identity as my child is often a hidden reality. Your faith is an unseen conviction in your heart. Your heavenly citizenship is not stamped on your passport. And because of this hiddenness, you are sometimes misunderstood. You may be marginalized for your beliefs, dismissed as foolish, or even mocked for the hope that you hold. You live in a tension that my people have always known, the tension of the already but not yet. You are already a child of the King, but you are not yet living in the King's country. You are a royal heir, but for a little while longer, you walk the earth in the humble clothes of a pilgrim. But I want you to lift your eyes from the temporary nature of your current situation and fix them on a day that is surely coming. A day is coming when all that is now secret will be publicly declared before all of creation. A day is coming when all that is hidden will be brought into the brilliant light of my glory. On that day, my Son, Jesus, will stand before me, the Father, and before the entire host of heaven, all the holy angels, and he will confess your name. He will not be ashamed of you. He will look at you, and he will say with a voice that echoes through the cosmos, "This one is mine. She belongs to me. He belongs to me." Can you even begin to imagine the glory of that moment? The final, public affirmation from the King of Kings that you are his. On that day, every knee in heaven and on earth and under the earth will bow, and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Every power, every authority, every skeptic, every king and president, and every person who may have ignored or ridiculed your faith will see the unveiled truth of who he is and who you are in him. Your faith, which you have held on to so tenaciously in the darkness, will be turned to glorious sight. Your hidden hope will be fully and publicly realized. The world that may have called you weak for your compassion, foolish for your hope, or naive for your trust in me, will stand in stunned, silent awe at the incredible glory that I will bestow upon you. It will not be a moment for you to be filled with pride or to say, "I told you so." It will be a moment when my scandalous grace, my perfect wisdom, and my unshakable faithfulness are put on glorious display for all the universe to see through you. This will be your final, public, and glorious vindication. Every false accusation that was ever leveled against you will be eternally silenced. Every tear of being misunderstood will be wiped away. Your choice to follow me, which at times may have seemed so costly and lonely on earth, will be revealed for all to see as the single wisest and most valuable decision anyone could ever make. So I tell you, live today in light of that coming day. When you feel small, unseen, or unappreciated, remember the great and public honor that awaits you. This future vindication is your present strength. My beloved, have you ever felt, in your quietest moments, a sense of not quite belonging here? A feeling of being a sojourner, an exile, a homesickness for a home you have never seen? That ache in your soul is not a flaw. It is a feature I have placed within you. It is the echo of eternity, the longing for your true home, the place where you will finally and fully belong. The truth that your name is written in my book is not merely a statement about your spiritual status. It is the title deed to a real place. It corresponds to a home that I have been preparing, with loving detail, specifically for you. My son promised you this directly. In my Father's house are many rooms. I am going there to prepare a place for you. This was not a vague platitude meant to offer fleeting comfort. It was a statement of cosmic construction, a promise of a custom-built home. This dwelling place is not a generic, uniform space in a celestial subdivision. I, who know you intimately, have designed it for you. I know the colors that bring peace to your spirit. I know the kind of light that makes your heart feel open and alive. I know the views that would take your breath away. Your eternal home reflects my intimate knowledge of you and my boundless love for you. And I want you to begin to imagine the nature of this place. It is a place defined not just by what is there, but by what is absent. Imagine a reality where the very concept of anxiety is a forgotten memory. Imagine a home where the scars of past betrayals and hurts are not just covered over, but have been completely and utterly healed, leaving not even a trace. Imagine waking up, not with that familiar low hum of dread about the day ahead, but with an overwhelming, all-consuming sense of perfect peace and exhilarating joy. My word promises you that in this home, there will be no more death, no more mourning, no more crying, no more pain. I will wipe every tear from your eyes with my own hand. This is not just the absence of negative things. It is the overwhelming, ever-present reality of a goodness and wholeness you can currently only dream of. And the greatest feature of this home is the fellowship you will have with me. Here on earth, our connection is real and beautiful, but you experience it through a veil. You hear me in the quiet whispers to your spirit. You see me through the eyes of faith. You feel me in the witness of my spirit. But there, the veil will be torn away forever. You will see me face to face. You will walk with me and talk with me in a fellowship that is completely unfiltered, unhindered, and more real and satisfying than your most profound moments of connection on this earth. Your culture may dismiss this as a fanciful tale, a myth, a coping mechanism for the fear of death. But I tell you the truth, that place is more real, more solid, and more permanent than the chair you are sitting on, than the ground beneath your feet. This world you now see is the shadow, heaven is the substance. It is the concrete, eternal reality for which you were created. You have seen sunsets that have brought you to your knees, heard music that has moved you to tears, and felt love that has made your heart feel it would burst. Take all of those peak moments of beauty, joy, and love, and understand that they are but the faintest echo, the dimmest preview, of the stunning, breathtaking reality of the home that is waiting for you. My child, listen. All of creation sings a song of praise to me. The thunderous crash of the ocean waves, the quiet strength of the ancient mountains, the fiery blaze of a distant star, they all declare my glory in their own language. And in the courts of heaven, there is a song that has been sung for all of eternity, an anthem of my holiness and power, sung by angels and celestial beings. But that heavenly symphony is not yet complete. It is waiting for a new movement, a new chorus, It is waiting for the voices of the redeemed. It is waiting for you. Your unique story of redemption is not a footnote in the grand narrative. It is an essential and irreplaceable verse in the eternal song of praise to the Lamb. No one else in all of creation has the exact story that you have. No one else was rescued from your specific darkness. No one else had your particular chains of sin and fear broken in just that way. No one else has experienced my grace in the precise, custom-made way that you have. Therefore, no one else can sing your verse. Your life is a unique testimony, and without your voice, without your personal story of my faithfulness, the song of heaven would be forever incomplete. On that great day, you will join a heavenly choir beyond all imagining, a multitude more numerous than the stars in the sky, with voices from every tribe, every nation, and every tongue. And all of those unique stories, all of those individual verses, will merge into a single, thunderous, and glorious chorus. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and wealth and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing. This is the eternal anthem of heaven, and it will be the joyful and spontaneous cry of your heart. Do not for a moment think that heaven will be boring, or that this song will become monotonous. It will be the opposite. You will spend the endless ages of eternity on a thrilling adventure of discovery, constantly uncovering new facets of my grace, new depths of my wisdom, and new dimensions of my infinite love for you. And with every new discovery, a fresh and more passionate wave of praise will erupt from your soul. Eternity will not be a static state of being. It will be a dynamic, ever-expanding experience of my goodness, which will fuel an ever-escalating song of praise. And this worship will be completely different from what you sometimes experience on earth. Here, worship can sometimes feel like a duty, an effort, something you have to muster up the energy for when you are tired or distracted. In that day, worship will be as natural and as effortless as breathing is to you now. It will not be a duty. It will be the spontaneous, joyful, unstoppable overflow of a heart that is completely whole, completely healed, and utterly captivated by the beauty of my glory. So I invite you, my child, to begin practicing your part in that song today. When you whisper a word of thanks for a small, daily mercy, you are singing a note. When you declare my goodness in the middle of a difficult trial, you are rehearsing the chorus. Let your entire life become a prelude, a beautiful introduction to the eternal song that you were created and redeemed to sing forever. My beloved, we have journeyed far in this conversation. We have spoken of my everlasting love for you, your true identity as my child, your divine purpose, and your glorious destiny. Now, as we draw near to the end, I want to give you the final, definitive word on your security. I want to speak a truth so powerful and absolute that it will anchor your soul for all time. I want to build a fortress of assurance around your heart so that no storm of doubt can ever breach its walls again. Let no one and nothing, not the accusations of the enemy, not the skepticism of the world, not the fear in your own heart, ever cause you to question the reality of your standing with me. This is my final word on the matter, and it is unshakable. This promise is not coming from a fallible human who might change their mind or be unable to keep their word. This declaration comes from me. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the one who is, who was, and who is to come. My word spoke the universe into existence. My word holds all things together. When I declare a thing, it becomes the ultimate reality, more real than anything you can see or touch. And I have declared you to be mine. The case is closed. My Apostle Paul, inspired by my Spirit, laid out the legal argument for your eternal security. Listen to it as if it were being read in the Supreme Court of the universe. Who will bring any charge against those whom God has chosen? The only one with the right to accuse you is me, the ultimate judge. And it is I who has justified you, I who has declared you righteous in my sight. The case is closed. There is no higher court of appeal. He continues, who then is the one who condemns? It is my Son, Christ Jesus, who has the right to condemn. But what has he done? He died for you. More than that, he was raised to life. And where is he now? He is at my right hand, in the position of ultimate authority. And what is he doing? He is interceding for you. Your defense attorney is my own Son. The one who would be your judge has instead become your advocate. Therefore, what in all of creation could possibly separate you from this love? Can trouble or hardship? No. In these very things I am working for your good and drawing you closer to me. Can persecution or famine or poverty or danger? No. These earthly circumstances cannot touch your eternal inheritance. Can life with all its unpredictable struggles, or even death itself with its apparent finality? No, for I have already told you that death is but the doorway into more of my love. I declare to you, with all the authority of my being, nothing, absolutely nothing, no power in heaven, no demon in hell, nothing in your present and nothing in your future, will ever be able to separate you from my love that is in Christ Jesus your Lord. Your eternal security does not rest in the strength of your trembling grip on me. It rests entirely in the omnipotent, unshakable, and loving strength of my grip on you. So stop your striving. Stop your worrying. Stop your fearing. Breathe in this glorious, finished work, and rest. Rest in this final, absolute, and glorious assurance. And so, my beloved child, we arrive not at an end but at a beginning. This conversation, these truths that I have whispered into the deepest parts of your soul, are not meant to be a one-time spiritual experience that you file away as a pleasant memory. They are meant to be the very foundation of a new way of living. You have received this message. You have heard this glorious, life-altering good news. The great and beautiful question that now stands before you is this: now that you know, how will you live? Your knowledge of this truth must now become the practice of your life. Will you continue to walk through your days with the timid fear and anxious striving that the world teaches, constantly worried about your performance and your security? Or will you now begin to walk with the quiet, humble confidence of a child of the King, not with an ounce of arrogance, but with the settled assurance of who you are and to whom you belong? Will you continue to allow anxiety to be the constant, frantic soundtrack of your life? Or will you choose to walk in the profound, supernatural peace that comes from knowing that your eternal destiny is absolutely secure in my hands? Will you continue to drift aimlessly through your days, feeling a lack of purpose? Or will you begin to walk with the divine intentionality of a masterpiece, created by me for good works that I have already prepared for you to do? This truth must change the way you walk. Because you have been loved with an everlasting, unconditional, and extravagant love, I now call you to become a conduit of that same love to the world around you. Love extravagantly. Love the difficult people. Love the unthankful people. Love those who do not deserve it, because you know that you did not deserve the love I poured out on you. You are not trying to earn my love by loving others. You are simply allowing the great river of my love that has flooded your own soul to overflow into the dry and thirsty lands of the people in your life. Because your own infinite debt of sin hath been freely and completely forgiven, I now call you to forgive freely. Release the bitterness you hold against the one who hurt you. Let go of the grudge that has been a poison in your soul. The immense grace you have received is the power that enables you to extend grace to others. Forgive as you have been so lavishly forgiven. Face your future, tomorrow morning, next week, the next decade, without fear. You do not know what it holds, but you know who holds it. And you know, with absolute certainty, where your journey ultimately leads, to an eternity of joy with me. This knowledge removes the terror of the unknown and replaces it with a confident and resilient hope. This message is not a one-time injection of spiritual encouragement. It is your daily bread. So I give you this final invitation. Open this truth daily. When you wake in the morning, remind your soul of it before your feet hit the floor. When you are in the middle of a trial, preach this truth to your own heart. Live, today and every single day, in the glorious, liberating, and life-transforming light of this one, central, magnificent reality, your name is written. You stand now at the edge of your promised dreamland, having heard my call to cast aside fear and take a grand leap of faith. If you are ready to put feet to your faith and partner with me to empower another soul to take their own leap, then I am showing you the way. Your act of giving through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link is you casting your bread upon the waters, a tangible yes to my command that will bring spiritual manna to the hungry. The heavens are open over you in this moment of decision. This is your divine appointment to act on the word you have just received. And because you have acted, I declare my promise from Philippians 4:19 over you. I will meet all of your needs according to my glorious riches in Christ Jesus. Watch as I take your seed of faith and multiply it back to you, bringing a harvest of both spiritual victory and earthly provision. Take your leap of faith now. Click the link and sow into this kingdom work. My child, do not let this sacred moment fade into silence. My word has been spoken over you. Now let your word of faith rise up to meet it. I call on you now to make this eternal truth your own public declaration. Go to the space below and write with unshakable certainty, "My name is written, and I receive it." Let this be the seal on our conversation, your amen to my everlasting promise. Let heaven record your response now. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel